In the 1970s, I saved Lu Huiyan from a flood, and in doing so, I injured one of my legs. Out of gratitude, Lu Huiyan married me, the girl with the limp, and it became a much-told tale of virtue at the time, but it wasn't until after Lu Huiyan passed away, when his white moonlight showed up with a boy and threw me out of the house, that I finally learned he had already married her long ago. There was even a child I knew nothing about, listed on the household register. Learning the truth, I was so enraged and heartbroken that I suffered a sudden heart attack and collapsed. When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn to a time before I married Lu Huiyan. In this new life, I'd decided to let go of Lu Huiyan and reclaim the life that is rightfully mine. 1. The suffocating feeling from the heart attack in my past life hadn't even faded when I glanced up and saw Lu Huiyan standing by the bed in his green military uniform, looking at me with clear impatience. Give the library job to Wenhui for now, her husband just died. It's not easy for a woman to make a life for herself here alone. This scene feels all too familiar. In my past life, he did the same thing, demanding with righteous indignation that I give up my job for his beloved Yi Wenhui. It led to a huge fight between us, which even drew the attention of Lu Huiyan's mother. In the end, not only did I fail to get my job back, but I also got a stern scolding from Mrs. Lu. It's just a measly librarian job. Is it really worth fighting over like this? You're an embarrassment to the Lu family, country bumpkin, so petty and small-minded, utterly lacking in class. In my past life, the Lu family was the one who offered me this job. Back then, Lu Huiyan, a university student, was sent down to our village as an educated youth. My father, the village party secretary, took pity on his talent and looked after him a great deal. That summer, there were heavy rains, and our village, situated near the river, was hit by a flood. During the relocation, Lu Huiyan fell into the water. I was the one who pulled him out, and I even injured my leg in the process. Out of gratitude, he wanted to marry me. His mother, using her connections, arranged this job for me at the school where she worked. In this new life, I don't want the job anymore, and I don't want the man either. All right, I understand, you may leave. Lu Huiyan's gaze faltered for a moment. He raised a fist to his lips and gave a light, deliberate cough. It's good that you understand. Don't worry, even if you have no job, you'll always have me. Not like Wenhui, who has nothing. This job is far too important to her. I looked up at him, my eyes cold and distant. Are you done, you? A flicker of displeasure crossed Lu Huiyan's eyes, but I couldn't be bothered to acknowledge him. I stood up and began to gather my things, seeing that I was ignoring him. He had no choice but to shut his mouth and leave the room in a huff. As soon as the door closed behind him, I scrambled to my feet and began searching every corner. It wasn't until I found the telegram that Lu Huiyan had carelessly tossed into a corner that I finally let out a heavy sigh of relief. Noting the date on the telegram and seeing there was still some daylight left, I limped my way to the post office to send a reply to my father. The spot is secured, I'll be home soon. This was the telegram from my father, telling me he had secured a place for me at a worker-peasant-soldier university. In my past life, the telegram my father sent me was carelessly tossed aside by Lu Huiyan. At the time, I was too busy arguing with Lu Huiyan to even notice it. By the time I realized it, 3 months had already passed, and the university spot mentioned in the telegram was long gone. Back then, the job the Lu family had promised me went to Yi Wenhui. I missed out on the university I should have attended, and the matter of marriage was dragged out for a long time. It wasn't until just before Lu Huiyan was transferred that we hastily held a few banquet tables, which counted as getting married. From then on, Lu Huiyan and I saw very little of each other. Yi Wenhui was soon transferred as well. Later on, Lu Huiyan ventured further and further afield, yet wherever he went, Lu Wenhui followed. As for me, I remained trapped here, tending to the elderly, dragging my lame leg. I toiled ceaselessly day and night, spinning like a top, first caring for my husband's grandmother, then immediately attending to his parents. The one and only time I was pregnant, I ended up having a miscarriage because of Yi Wenhui. I had to wait until both of the old folks passed away before I could finally go to Beijing to be with Lu Huiyan. He settled me into the staff dormitory allocated to him by his work unit, and then became so consumed with his job that he was hardly ever home. With my leg disability and a general aversion to dealing with outsiders, I rarely left the house except to buy daily necessities. No one knew I was Professor Lu's wife. They all thought I was just a distant relative of the Lu family, here to help out. No one informed me when Lu Huiyan passed away from a sudden illness. It wasn't until Yi Wenhui showed up with her son and threw me out that I discovered Lu Huaiyan had been leading a double life. He and Yi Wenhui had been legally married for who knows how long, even her son was officially registered under Lu Huaiyan's name. I gave everything for this family, only to end up with nothing. Thankfully, I haven't married Lu Huaiyan yet, even though my leg is crippled, there's still room to maneuver, it's not too late. I picked up the red brush and added a touch of crimson to the unfinished plum blossom painting on the table. I think once this painting is finished, it will be time for me to leave. Consider it a gift to myself, a gift of freedom. The next day, I gathered up all the wedding preparations, packed them into a bag, and took them to the black market to exchange for cash and various ration coupons. On my way back, I ran into Lu Huaiyan. He was walking to work with Yi Wenhui, chatting and laughing. When Lu Huaiyan saw me, his expression instantly turned awkward, and he became visibly flustered. I felt a wave of irritation but pretended not to see them. Walking straight past, Yi Wenhui, however, wasn't about to let it go, yawning. Don't get the wrong idea, Brother Lu and I just happened to run into each other and were heading the same way to work. Yawning, it's really not what you think, Lu Huaiyan quickly explained. Seeing I was ignoring them, it's fine, carry on, I said. Completely indifferent, yawning, I know you have some misunderstandings about me because of work, but I really need this job, could you please just let it go? Brother Lu only helped me because he felt sorry for me, please don't misunderstand him, I don't want you two to argue because of me. Yi Wenhui blocked my way, insisting on hashing it out with me. I gave Yi Wenhui a look that was all smile but no warmth. She wore her hair in 2 braids, a dacron dress, and a pair of little black leather shoes, looking both stylish and delicate. As for me, I was dressed in patched clothes, my face tanned a deep bronze by the sun, and I was so covered in dust you could have swept off a kilo of it, not to mention, I was limping on one leg. In my past life, seeing her like that filled me with such inferiority that I didn't dare speak to her, but now, I had no intention of giving her an inch. Oh really? Well then, let's put it to a vote. Let everyone decide which of us needs this job more. I heard your husband just passed away, so what's the meaning of you dolling yourself up and clinging to him like this? As soon as I finished speaking, Yi Wenhui's face fell. She turned to Lu Huaiyan with tearful eyes. Brother Lu, look at her. Lu Huaiyan's face flushed crimson, and he opened his mouth to berate me. Chiu yawning, how dare you speak to Wenhui like that? Apologize to her this instant. Apologize? What on earth do I have to apologize for? And who's going to apologize to me for the decades I wasted in my past life? But I didn't want to get entangled with them, so I turned and walked away, leaving only Lu Huaiyan and the other person shouting in a furious rage, country bumpkin, no manners, school is about to start, the money and vouchers I just exchanged aren't much, but they'll do for my school expenses. I returned home happily and added a few more strokes of red to the unfinished plum blossom painting. Soon, I'll be able to leave this place and start my new life. That evening, Lu Huaiyan finally came home. He hadn't been home for days, and the moment he returned, he started ordering me around. Tomorrow, cook a few dishes and invite Wenhui over for dinner. It's a good chance for you to apologize to her, Lu Huaiyan instructed. Then give me the money for the groceries. Lu Huaiyan was taken aback for a moment, then his brow furrowed. You didn't give me the living expenses this month, and I've used up all the money I brought from home. You can't expect me to show up empty-handed and feed her thin air, can you? Looking somewhat embarrassed, Lu Huaiyan turned and pulled a few 10 yuan bills from his pocket, placing them on the table. I didn't stand on ceremony and took the money. Let's make some meat dishes. Wenhui is too thin, she needs to build up her strength. The next day at noon, Lu Huaiyan brought Yi Wenhui over for a meal. I prepared a whole table of fish dishes, fish head and tofu soup, sauerkraut fish slices, cold dressed fish skin. It was practically all fish. Judging by the birth date of that child on Lu Huaiyan's household register from my past life, Yi Wenhui should already be pregnant at this point. The only question is whether the child is Lu Huaiyan's or someone else's. My guess is it's not Lu Huaiyan's, because he seems completely in the dark. Yawning, this food looks absolutely delicious. Without waiting for me to take my seat, Yi Wenhui casually sat down beside Lu Huaiyan and unceremoniously picked up her chopsticks to start eating. Meanwhile, I was still busy in the kitchen, looking like their nanny, but after just a few bites, I heard the sound of Yi Wenhui hastily getting up. She rushed into the bathroom, followed by the sound of retching. Lu Huaiyan stood anxiously outside the door, repeatedly asking Yi Wenhui what was wrong. Yi Wenwei pushed the door open, her face pale and her eyes brimming with tears. She said in a pitiful voice, "This fish is so fishy, I can't eat it, Brother Lu, since Sister Yanning doesn't want me here, I just won't come anymore." For the first time, Lu Huaiyan didn't immediately agree with Yi Wenwei. He scratched his head, looking a bit confused. "It tastes fine to me, I don't find it fishy at all." Yi Wenwei was momentarily taken aback. After a pause, an awkward smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. "Really, but this time, I didn't let Yi Wenwei finish her sentence and cut in. "You're not pregnant, are you?" Yi Wenwei's face fell, and Lu Huaiyan also frowned. "What nonsense are you talking about? Wenwei's husband has been dead for 6 months, how could she possibly be pregnant? Don't pick up the bad habit of gossiping and spreading rumors all day long. In my past life, I was a total pushover, when they treated me like dirt. I couldn't even muster a word in my own defense, but I've been reborn. Why on earth should I put up with it again? Am I wrong? The fish was perfectly fine, everyone else ate it without a problem, so why is it only she who got sick? Besides, her symptoms are exactly like when Auntie San in our village was pregnant. If you think I'm jumping to conclusions, why not just get her checked? Or is it that you're always with her? Have you two been carrying on? Is the child yours?" At my words, Lu Huaiyan's face flushed a deep crimson in an instant, as if set ablaze. "What nonsense are you spouting? Shut your mouth." Hearing this, Yi Wenwei's face turned deathly pale. She pointed at me, her face a mask of shame and fury. "You." Before she could finish, her eyes rolled back and she fainted into Lu Huaiyan's arms. Lu Huaiyan didn't have time to argue with me anymore. He rushed Yi Wenwei to the hospital, and the house suddenly became much quieter. I picked up my chopsticks and heartily dug into the feast spread across the table, eating with great satisfaction. Lu Huaiyan didn't come back that night. He must have stayed at the hospital to keep Yi Wenwei company. I had already packed all my belongings, which amounted to just a small bundle. I left everything the Lu family had bought for me untouched, neatly arranged and left in the room. Now, all I needed was a reason to go home. The next day, Lu Huaiyan's mother returned. When her work kept her busy, she would often make do at the school-provided dormitory. The family compound I live in was originally allocated to her by the university. Since Lu Huaizhou and I were about to get married, she left the place for us to use as our marital home. Now, with the recent reinstatement of the National College entrance exams, the university has been swamped with work, so she's been coming home even less frequently. In my past life, although my relationship with Mother Lu was strained, she never actually did anything truly malicious. What's more, Mother Lu never liked Yi Wenwei, so even her sour expression started to look a bit more agreeable to me. Perfect, using her to throw a wrench in Lu Huaiyan's plans would be just fine. So, I quickly boiled water and poured tea. Seeing me so diligent, her expression softened considerably. Before we could exchange more than a few pleasantries, Lu Huaiyan returned. Supporting the pale-faced Yi Wenwei, Lu Huaiyan called out for me loudly as soon as he entered the courtyard gate. "Yanning, hurry up and prepare a room for Wenwei. She's fallen ill with no one to look after her, so she'll be staying with us for a few days." Mother Lu's expression instantly darkened, and she scolded sharply, "Lu Huaiyan, you get in here this instant." Only then did Lu Huaiyan realize his mother had arrived, and he hurriedly ushered Yi Wenwei inside. "I heard all the gossip about someone being pregnant that you were shouting about in the yard yesterday. It's already reached my ears today. You and Yanning need to set a wedding date immediately, before the neighbors start gossiping and spreading rumors." After his mother's scolding, Lu Huaiyan was clearly indignant. "Wenwei and I have done nothing wrong. It's not at all what you're thinking. It's all Qiu Yanning's fault for having such a loose tongue. Wenhui and I are completely innocent, yet she's gone and spread these baseless rumors. And yet you still brought this woman home." Mother Lu looked at Lu Huaiyan with exasperation, as if he were hopelessly disappointing. "Wenhui is in a weak state right now, with no one to look after her. I had no choice but to bring her back." "Absolutely not. That woman is not setting foot in this house." Mother Lu refused, her tone leaving no room for argument. Upon hearing Mrs. Lu's words, Yi Wenwei lowered her head and began to sob quietly. Her utterly pitiable appearance instantly tugged at Lu Huaiyan's heartstrings. "If you won't let Wenwei stay here, then I'll take her and we'll live somewhere else. I won't abandon her," Lu Huaiyan declared angrily, grabbing Wenwei's hand and storming off. Mrs. Lu was so enraged by her son that she choked on her breath, clutched her chest, and collapsed into a chair. I quickly stepped forward to pat her back and help her catch her breath. It took her a while to recover. "Yanning, it was Huaiyan's fault. please don't take it to heart. We need to set a wedding date soon. How about I pick a day and we just go ahead with the ceremony? A flicker of something unreadable passed through my eyes before I lowered my head and replied softly, marriage is a serious matter. After all, I should still go back and discuss it with my father. Well, you're right. For something like this, it wouldn't be proper not to go through the in-laws. Alright then, go home as soon as you can, pick a date, and let's have the wedding quickly, urged Mother Lu. I nodded in agreement. Before I left, Mother Lu gave me 200 yuan to buy something for my father. As a token of their regard, I put it away. I never got this kind of treatment in my past life. Back then, I had a huge, public fight with Lu Huayan over work, causing the whole compound to come watch the drama. His mother formed a very poor opinion of me. That's why later, when Lu Huayan and Yi Wenhui grew so close, she didn't intervene. Even their wedding was a slapdash affair. I was just worrying about how to justify going home, and now this is perfect. I can go back with a perfectly valid reason. I glanced at the red plum blossoms on the wall. The few remaining ones had all been painted over. Well, that meant I could head back early. I bought a ticket home as fast as I could and left behind a letter breaking off the engagement. Then, without a trace of nostalgia, I set out on a new journey. As the train began to move, I thought I saw Lu Huaizhou's face. He was running desperately forward, waving his arms, as if trying to tell me something. Too, it must have been my imagination. At a time like this, Lu Huaizhou would be too busy comforting Yi Wenhui. How could he possibly be here, even if he had somehow ended up here by chance? It was already too late for him to catch up with me. After a full day and night on the train, I finally made it back to the village. I'd barely stepped into the village when I ran into Cui Ziyuan. I just came from your place. Your old man said you'd be back in the next few days. Perfect timing. I'm here to help you with your school enrollment. I was also very pleased to meet Cui Ziyuan. He's a journalist who happened to witness me rescuing Lu Huaizhou and wrote a report about it. It was precisely because of that report that I was selected as an outstanding youth in the county, which then allowed my father to successfully secure a spot for me at the Worker Peasant Soldier University. In my past life, I never returned and ended up missing the opportunity for nothing. In this life, I won't let it slip away again. When I got home, my father saw me, and his weather-beaten face instantly crinkled into a wide smile. Sweetheart, have you made up your mind? If you go off to university, you'll be gone for years. When you come back, that young man from the Lu family might not wait for you. I smiled and told my old father, Dad, I'm not going to marry him. These days, the whole marrying someone to repay them for saving your life thing is completely outdated, but with your leg being like that, it'll be hard to find a husband later. Father said with concern, Dad, this is a new society now. Women hold up half the sky, even though my leg is lame. It doesn't stop me from contributing to our country. As long as I have knowledge and ability, I can support myself anywhere. I don't need to find a husband to get by. Cui Ziyuan, who had returned with me, gave me a thumbs up. Yanning is truly a fine young socialist, to show such selfless courage in the face of danger, and to possess such resilient will in pursuing independence despite her own disability and society's prejudices. She is truly an exemplary woman. Seeing that I wasn't bothered by these matters, my father's mind was put at ease. After that, I stayed at home for 10 days. Cui Ziyuan was busy running around, helping me get all the paperwork sorted out. The time had come for me to set off. On the morning of my departure, my father stood at the village entrance for a long time, until his figure finally disappeared from my sight. I wiped the tear stains from the corners of my eyes, pushed down the reluctance in my heart, and, bathed in the golden sunlight, jostled along in the rumbling bus as I raced toward my son. To get to school, I first had to catch a train from the provincial capital. My father was worried about me traveling alone, and as it happened, Cui Ziyuan had work that took him to the city as well, so he accompanied me on the trip. Once we arrived in the provincial capital, I entrusted my luggage to him and went ahead to the train station to queue up for a ticket. After buying the ticket, it suddenly occurred to me that I still had a few things left with Lu Huayan. I don't want to see him, but I'll be damned if I let him have my things for free. Besides, he's probably with Yi Wenhui right now. Doubt he has time to spare a thought for me. I returned to the Lu residence, used my key to open the door, and was met with complete darkness inside. I flipped the light switch. The living room was a complete mess. Lu Huayan is hopeless at housework. It seems he's been having a rough time of it since I've been gone. After searching around, I found my small bundle had been tossed into a corner of the living room. its contents rifled through and left in complete disarray. I had no idea if anything was missing. I was just about to go check the room I used to stay in when Lu Huiyan returned with Yi Wenhui. "What are you doing back?" Lu Huiyan asked. Looking surprised to see me, Yi Wenhui remained quite reserved, giving me a slight nod before turning and walking straight into my room. I frowned and looked at Lu Huiyan. "What's that supposed to mean?" Lu Huiyan was taken aback for a moment before explaining. "Wenhui has caught a cold these past couple of days, and with no one to look after her, she's staying here for now. Since you happen to be away, I let her use your room for the time being." "Let's not talk about that for now. I want to ask you, why didn't you tell me you were going back? If I hadn't seen you at the train station that day, I would never have known. In the future, could you at least let me know where you're going?" "So, it wasn't a hallucination. I really did see him at the train station that day. It's truly laughable. In this life and the last, I've never seen him genuinely care about where I go. Why the sudden act of being all sentimental now? That's really off-putting. You brought Yi Wenhui back to stay without even telling me." "Cut the crap, I'm asking you. Why did you throw my things out and go through them without my permission?" "Lu Huiyan, do you even realize that taking something without asking is stealing? What you two did is outright theft." My blood was boiling with rage. Lu Huiyan was stunned for a long moment before he finally pouted and retorted, "Stealing? Don't be so harsh. We're getting married soon. What's yours is mine, isn't it?" I was just about to have it out with Lu Huiyan when Yi Wenhui suddenly emerged from the room. "Who's been messing with my things? The 200 yuan I kept under my pillow is gone." She turned to look at me. "Did you take it?" Yawning, "I know you have a problem with me, but you can't just steal my money. I saved that up for a long time. It's not easy for a woman to get by on her own. Please, I'm begging you, give me back my money." How laughable. I hadn't even accused her of stealing from me, and she's already turning the tables on me. I saw red instantly. "Don't you dare spout such nonsense. I never set foot in that room. Don't you try to pin this on me. You accuse me of taking your money. Well, I say you've been through my bundle. I'm missing money from it too." With tears welling in her eyes, Yi Wenhui looked at Lu Huiyan. "Brother Lu, please tell Sister Yanning to give me back my money. I'm struggling to get by. And that 200 yuan is for my medical treatment." Lu Huiyan frowned deeply, seemingly lost in thought, before finally looking at me with a troubled expression. "Yanning, give the money back to Wenhui. If you're short on cash, I'll give you some. Don't take hers." I wanted to argue further, but it was clear Lu Huiyan believed Yi Wenhui and was adamant that I return the money. "Fine, let's search you then. And see if you really have any money on you," seeing me momentarily lost for words. Yi Wenhui grew smug and immediately pushed her advantage. With the two of them ganging up on me, I was truly left speechless and unable to defend myself. To make matters worse, I actually did have 200 yuan in my pocket, even if it wasn't the same 200 Yi Wenhui was talking about. This whole situation was impossible to explain clearly. Of course, I couldn't just let them pin this on me. Since nobody trusts anybody here, let's go to the police station and sort this out properly. Left with no other choice, I could only think of turning to the officers for help. On the surface, I appeared perfectly calm, but deep down I was filled with regret. I never should have come back just to save a few bucks on lodging. Stirring up trouble out of nowhere. Being angry is one thing, but delaying my registration is a whole other, much bigger problem. The moment Lu Huiyan heard about going to the police station, he wanted to smooth things over. "Wenhui, I have 200 yuan here. Consider it compensation from me on Yanning's behalf. Please, just let her off the hook this time." "Yanning, hurry up and apologize to Wenhui. Let's just put this whole thing behind us." "So, they're just pinning the blame squarely on me." I was both furious and frantic. Yi Wenhui caught me off guard and went straight for my coat pocket. As luck would have it, I had 200 yuan wrapped in a handkerchief right there, and she fished it out in one go. Now she was even more sure of herself. "The money's right here. How are you going to deny it now? Weren't we going to the police station? Let's go right now." Yi Wenhui grabbed my arm and dragged me out into the courtyard. I tried with all my might to wrench my arm free, but to my surprise, her grip was incredibly strong, and I couldn't break loose. As I watched the neighbors gathering along the top of the wall, I knew in my heart that Yi Wenhui wouldn't rest until she had me thrown in jail this time. "This is my own money, not yours," I shouted in my defense, but it was useless. After a bit of a tussle, I ended up at the police station with Lu Huiyan and Yi Wenhui. The officer on duty clearly recognized Lu Huiyan. "Professor Lu, what brings you here? This must be your wife." "It's nothing serious, just a domestic dispute." we've finished the mediation, you'll be free to go in no time." As he spoke, the staff member stole a few glances at me and Yi Wenhui. Everyone knew Lu Huiyan had a lame fiancé. Though Yi Wenhui was prettier and a better match for him, my limping gait was far more recognizable. Lu Huiyan frowned deeply and shook his head. "I still hope you'll judge this case impartially. Stealing money is no small matter. If she truly made a mistake, she should be detained as appropriate. Don't give her preferential treatment just because of me." Lu Huiyan, I never imagined he could be not just foolish, but downright malicious. Couldn't he see he was about to ruin my life completely? Lu Huiyan looked at me, a flicker of hesitation passing through his eyes, but soon, a cold sneer curled at the corner of his mouth. "Qiu Yaning, I gave you a chance, but you refused it. You just had to make a scene here. You've completely humiliated the Lu family. This time, you will be taught a lesson. Comrades, please detain her according to the regulations. Let this be a lesson she won't forget." Panic surged through me. "My train ticket is for tomorrow night. I absolutely cannot be locked up here." "Lu Huiyan, you're accusing me of stealing money. Where's your proof? This is a police station, not some place where you can just make up the rules as you go." Seeing my distress, Lu Huiyan replied with a dismissive air. "Scared now, are you? You were acting so tough back at the house. I think you should stay here and think things over for a few days. We'll see if you've come to your senses by the time you get out." Yi Wenhui shot me a triumphant look, linked arms with Lu Huiyan, and turned to leave. They hadn't taken more than a few steps before a staff member stopped them and turned them back. "Professor Lu, we need solid evidence before we can convict someone of a crime. All of you will need to be questioned. You can leave once we have a result." Lu Huiyan and Yi Wenhui paled, but there was nothing they could do. They had no choice but to sit down and wait for the staff to proceed. Right in front of the staff, I shot back at Yi Wenhui. "If you claim this 200 yuan is yours, then tell me, how many Great Unity bills and how many steelmaking bills are in here?" Yi Wenhui's face stiffened, and she rolled her eyes at me. "I don't remember," she said. I turned to the staff and said, "This 200 yuan is mine. It consists of 15 Great Unity bills, 6 steelmaking bills, 15 tractor bills, and 10 50-cent notes, and this whole stack of bills, every single one is facing right side up. Not a single note is turned the wrong way." The staff unwrapped the handkerchief, revealing a neat, tightly rolled bundle of banknotes. After examining it, they nodded and turned back to Yi Wenhui. "You claim she stole this money. What proof do you have?" "She took advantage of my absence to sneak into my room and rummage through my things. When I got back, I found the 200 yuan I kept under my pillow was gone. There was no one else in the house, so it must have been her." I couldn't help but retort, "Well then, you tell me, how did your money end up under the pillow in my room?" "What do you mean, yours? That's mine." Lu Huiyan finally caught on and warned me sharply, "Qiu Yaning, watch your mouth." The staff member was clearly bewildered, his eyes sweeping back and forth between us like searchlights. "Comrade Yi Wenhui, are you saying you lost the money at Teacher Lu's house? That doesn't make any sense." Yi Wenhui's face fell at that moment. She lowered her head and fell silent again. Lu Huiyan clearly didn't want to drag this out any longer. "Comrade, the act of stealing itself has nothing to do with where the money was lost." I hurriedly continued my defense. "Comrade, this money was gathered for me by my father, going door to door. Every single bill has the character name written on it in pencil. As a model youth who's been featured in the newspaper, how could I possibly do something as despicable as stealing?" With that, I took out the newspaper that had originally reported on Lu Huiyan's rescue and handed it to the staff member. The staff member examined the money again, then looked at the newspaper I had passed over, and finally at Lu Huiyan. His tone turning cold and hard. "Professor Lu, Comrade Qiu Yaning's evidence all checks out. Unless you have new proof that this money belongs to Comrade Yi, then it rightfully belongs to Comrade Qiu." Finally, the suspicion was lifted from me. Lu Huiyan and Yi Wenhui had lost the bravado they'd shown when they first entered the police station. After a brief silence, Lu Huiyan said to me, "Yaning, this isn't such a big deal. I'll have Wenhui apologize to you. If you just sign the mediation agreement, we can put this whole thing behind us." "Oh, wonderful. You thought you had evidence I stole the money and tried to have me thrown in jail. Now that my name's been cleared, you expect me to just let it slide. Since when does that make any sense?" I ignored Lu Huiyan and turned to the officer. "How many days should they be detained for false accusation and slander?" "Please, just follow procedure. Detain them for as long as the law requires. Don't go easy on them just because you know each other." thanks to the diligent mediation of the police station staff, this whole farce finally came to an end with Yi Wenhui offering me a public apology and paying me 500 yuan in compensation for emotional distress. Lu Huiyan covered the payment for Yi Wenhui. He happened to have just withdrawn his salary, and he handed the money to me on the spot, with the staff as witnesses, seizing the moment while everyone was present. I also took out those 200 yuan and returned them to Lu Huiyan. This is what your mother gave me, consider it returned to its rightful owner. As for all the things your Lu family bought for me, I've left them untouched at home. For anything missing, you'll have to ask Yi Wenhui. She really has a habit of helping herself without asking. Just look, she's wearing it right now, I said, pointing at the bracelet on Yi Wenhui's wrist. Lu Huiyan's face darkened with anger, Qiu yawning. Must you be so unreasonable? Wenhui looks good wearing it, just let her have it for a couple of days. I gave my permission, and you're still making such a fuss. I stared at Lu Huiyan, speechless at the sheer disdain written all over his face. A profound sense of worthlessness washed over me. I must have been blind in my past life, my judgment completely clouded, to ever think this man was a refined gentleman of talent and looks. What a fool I was, throwing away my entire life on him. Well, at least from now on, I'll have nothing more to do with the Lu family. Everything from that family, their possessions, their money, it all feels tainted to me. Right now, all I want is to cut ties with them as quickly as possible. Stepping out of the police station, the morning light was already bright. I had taken all my things with me when I went there last night. There was nothing left here for me to miss. Lu Huiyan and I walked in opposite directions. He called out to me, "Aren't you going home? Where are you headed?" You know what, you're right, I should be more gracious. I'll get out of your way and stop being an eyesore, I said to Lu Huiyan with a smile. Lu Huiyan's face paled at my retort. You're so relentless when you think you're right. Fine, if that's how it is, go reflect on yourself properly before coming back. Lu Huiyan stormed off in a huff, taking Yi Wenhui with him. As for me, I couldn't have cared less about his affairs. The next day, I found Cui Ziyuan. Collected my luggage, and he kindly saw me off at the station. Before leaving, I went to the post office and sent a letter to Lu Huiyan's mother. I told her the whole story and made it clear that my engagement to Lu Huiyan was off, so we could both go our separate ways and find our own happiness. As for Lu Huiyan himself, I trust his mother will explain everything to him. After 2 days on the rickety train, I finally arrived at my school. Only after completing the enrollment formalities did I truly feel a sense of relief. Life at school is wonderful. I'm immersed in an ocean of knowledge, surrounded by things I could never have accessed in my past life. I cherish this hard-won opportunity immensely. I traveled 1,000 miles from the north to enroll in a southern school in the autumn. Everyone jokingly said I was like a seasonal autumn goose, flying south with the migratory birds just at the right time. Regarding my leg, on my teacher's recommendation, I went to a major hospital. The specialist said I had ligament damage and that it could be repaired with surgery. While it wouldn't be as good as new, it would be much better than it is now. Life was going along smoothly, and I never expected Lu Huiyan to track me down. He showed up just as the semester was winding down. I had just been discharged from the hospital after surgery, my injured leg still in recovery, and somehow it looked even worse than before. With a cold expression, Lu Huiyan blocked my path to the cafeteria. Qiu yawning, have you had your fun, running off to a place this far away all by yourself? Do you have any idea how hard you were to find? Lu Huiyan dismissed my decision to attend university as nothing more than a fit of pique. Regarding our engagement, you just ran off without a single word to me. I took a deep breath, trying my best to remain calm. As for calling off the engagement, I wrote to your mother before I came, explaining the situation between us clearly. Lu Huiyan looked at me with impatience all over his face. What do you mean, make things clear? Don't you realize how much this affects me? Pack your things right now and come home with me to get married. These worker peasant soldier universities are useless. You won't learn anything worthwhile, and the degree won't get you anywhere. Once you marry me, I'll naturally provide for you. You won't have to work so hard, just take care of the household. Look at your leg, isn't it getting worse? You'd be better off resting at home. Besides, with that limp of yours, who else would even want to marry you? Hearing this, it suddenly dawned on me, in my past life, that telegram notifying me of my university acceptance, Lu Huiyan had deliberately tossed it into a corner. He never wanted me to attend that university. His deep-seated chauvinism couldn't tolerate a woman rising above him. His mind was shackled by the archaic notion that men belong in the public sphere, women in the domestic one. at his core. He looked down on women. Lu Huayan, I truly regret ever saving you. Just how much hardship did I endure for his sake back then, all these years, because I'm lame in one leg. So many people have pitied him, such a brilliant young man ending up with a lame country girl. He didn't have to marry me, no one begged him to, but I saved him, and we were trapped together for 2 days and a night. Later, a journalist visiting the countryside took our photo, it got published in the paper, and the story of my saving him became a huge public spectacle. On top of that, my father was the village party secretary. He only agreed to get engaged to me to secure his ticket back to the city as quickly as possible. In my past life, I never thought about these things. I was simply captivated by his incredibly handsome face, and my heart fluttered with youthful infatuation. Overjoyed, I followed him back to the city and entrusted him with my entire life, only for him to deceive me for the rest of my days. But now it's different. I finally got into university through my own hard work. I have a brand new life ahead of me. How could I possibly go back to that place that trapped and stifled me? Thinking of this, I declared to Lu Huayan with righteous conviction, as the new youth of a new era, each of us has the responsibility and duty to acquire new knowledge, shine as brightly as we can, and contribute our share to the building of socialism. Every single person, regardless of gender or age. I believe the words you just spoke are utterly unworthy of an intellectual in this new era. The surrounding students applauded and cheered, while Lu Huayan, his face ashen, had no choice but to flee in disgrace amidst their jeers. From that day on, Lu Huayan never showed his face again. At first, we exchanged a few letters, but eventually, even those stopped coming. Naturally, I stopped concerning myself with him and focused on living my university life happily and diligently. Years later, dressed in a well-tailored suit, I walked with steady steps onto the stage to receive my award. No one could tell I had once been a cripple, as I accepted the Outstanding Social Contribution Award trophy from the presenter. Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. I know that, in this life, I have become my true self. I have lived a life without regrets. After the awards ceremony, Cui Ziyuan and I reminisced about our hometown. So, Lu Huayan ended up marrying Yi Wenhui after all. The news of Yi Wenhui's pregnancy got out, and it really damaged Lu Huayan's reputation. Everyone said he was ungrateful and promiscuous. That's why he was searching everywhere for me, hoping I'd go back and marry him to silence the gossip. But he didn't get his wish. He applied for a transfer, but someone posted a big character poster about him on the bulletin board at his workplace, and the transfer fell through. The child wasn't Lu Huayan's, but belonged to another man Yi Wenhui was involved with. She had only started seeing Lu Huayan because she saw him as an easy mark. When Lu Huayan found out, he had a huge falling out with Yi Wenhui. However, Yi Wenhui's family went to Lu Huayan's workplace and insisted the child was his. Under pressure, Lu Huayan had no choice but to marry her. Yi Wenhui was never the type to settle down and live a proper life. After marriage, their household descended into utter chaos, and Lu Huayan himself became slovenly and depressed. Lu's mother was in poor health and had her own mother-in-law to care for. No sooner had they finally seen the old lady off than Lu's mother herself took to her sickbed. Yi Wenhui, of course, didn't bother to take proper care of her. Rumor has it that when the old woman died, she was covered in her own filth, a sight too wretched to behold. After hearing this, I simply shrugged it off with a wry smile. None of this has anything to do with me anymore. I dragged Cui Ziyuan along to the victory celebration to have a few good drinks. On the way to the hotel, I thought I heard someone call out to me, yawning, I regret it, but I paid it no mind. Some people are best left in the past. Let those bygones be carried away by the wind. We shall not meet again in this life. Do not ask the southbound goose when it will return. The end. Story 2. After being reborn, I took the initiative to sever all ties with Lu Jing. He applied to the National University of Defense Technology in Hunan, so I changed my application to the People's Public Security University in Beijing. The main idea is to stay as far apart as possible. When he came home for the new year to look for me, I drove out overnight for a trip, not answering calls, not replying to messages. As soon as he transferred to the city where I work, I immediately applied for a transfer. Won't even meet him face to face. In my past life, I loved him for 30 years, and was neglected by him for 30 years, got cancer in my 40s. At the final moment of my life, Lu Jing was busy preparing the new house to marry Su Shanshan. The 2 sons I worked so hard to raise were busy preparing for their weddings. I lay alone on the hospital bed waiting to die. I never want to live such a failed life again. After resubmitting my college entrance exam preferences, my whole body relaxed. Finally, I don't have to keep entangling with losing anymore. No one knows I've been reborn. The deadline for submitting early admission applications is tomorrow at noon. I'm afraid the network will be too slow tomorrow and I won't be able to log in. That's why I stayed up all night to modify my application. In my past life, I chased after losing for a lifetime, and resented him for just as long. In the end, all I got was a death filled with bitterness. In this life, I no longer wish to have any dealings with Lu Xing. I want to be as far apart from him as the heavens are from the earth, never to meet again. July 13th is my 18th birthday. On that day, I will publicly tell him, I won't get engaged to you, you're free. 15 more days. Just stepped out of the internet cafe when I received Lu Xing's text message. I'm out playing with friends and might be back late. Cover for me. Thanks. 1. I casually replied with yeah. Lu Xing and I grew up together since childhood. His dad served with mine in the military, and our moms are best friends and colleagues. I lived at his house for 3 years, always calling his mother Aunt Lee. His mother treated me even better than her own biological son. I had a secret crush on him, while he liked Su Shanshan. I originally planned to keep these feelings buried in my heart and honestly be his little sister for life. On the day the college entrance exams ended, Lu Xing took me to a bar. While drunk, I was sexually harassed by 2 men when I went to the restroom. If Lu Xing hadn't come looking for me when I didn't return for so long, I don't know what might have happened next. I felt that being sexually harassed was an immense humiliation. I almost committed suicide. Motherly felt that Lu Xing failed to protect me properly and forced him to agree to get engaged with me. Out of guilt, Lu Xing promised we'd hold an engagement banquet as soon as he received the admission letter. Su Shanshan couldn't accept Lu Xing's impending engagement and made quite a scene. Lu Xing found every excuse to comfort Su Shanshan. In his past life, Lu Xing truly loved Su Shanshan to the point of devastation. For her, he was willing to abandon everything, including his principles, future, conscience. The more I clung, the more I lost. The more I lose, the more unwilling I become. I used every means to oppose them, wanting them to suffer as much as I did. In the end, even Motherly, who was like a mother to me, cut off all contact with me. The 2 sons I worked so hard to raise both came to despise me. I heard them say with my own ears, Mom's living such a hard life, it'd be better if she died sooner. That way Dad and Aunt Su can finally be together. It's been 30 years, they've had it too tough, in this lifetime. I won't be the villain who ruins their destined marriage, and I won't keep those 2 ungrateful wretches either. I'll let them have their happiness, and free myself in the process. 2. Changing my early admission preferences was my first step away from Lu Xing. It was also my first step toward living for myself. In my past life, to be with Lu Xing, I gave up my dream of attending the public security university. Instead, I followed him to the National University of Defense Technology that he had always longed for. Full military-style management is far more stringent than police-style management. The training hours and programs were also more intensive, leaving me physically and mentally exhausted. It was unbearable. What made it worse was watching Lu Xing and Su Shanshan flirt right under my nose. I was burning with jealousy, yet didn't dare to confront them openly, because I was actually the other woman. Later, Su Shanshan was suddenly expelled from school. Lu Xing thought it was my doing and never gave me a kind look again. After graduating from university, Lu Xing kept delaying his promise to marry me, until receiving Su Shanshan's wedding invitation. To sever Lu Xing's feelings, Su Shanshan hastily married a good-for-nothing rich second-generation heir. Heartbroken, Lu Xing went through our wedding ceremony like a walking corpse. After marriage, Lu Xing kept avoiding me. Haven't been back home for several years. When I visited him at the military base, he chose to cover his comrade's shift rather than return to the dormitory to be with me. Momly keeps calling every day asking if I'm pregnant yet. She even mailed me a set of lingerie, to please Lu Xing, and to let Motherly hold her grandson sooner. Shyly, I put it on and climbed onto the duty room bed. But Lu Xing pointed at my nose and called me shameless. I couldn't take it anymore, ran back overnight, and insisted on divorcing Lu Xing no matter what. Lu Xing came back to apologize to me. He coaxed me with sweet words and made up for the wedding night that was 3 years late. I got pregnant after just one night, and it was twins. I thought having children would make Lu Xing take on the responsibilities of a husband and father. Only later did I realize the child could only trap me. The only one who could trap Lu Xing was Su Shanshan. Even though he knew Su Shanshan's provocation caused my difficult labor, nearly claiming 3 lives, he still defended Su Shanshan unconditionally. To make me forgive Su Shanshan, he knelt before me and stabbed himself twice to atone for her sins. At that time, I was still hospitalized, and the 2 babies were still in incubators. He never asked about them, nor even glanced at the children. I had just arrived home when I received a video sent by Su Shanshan. In the video, she and Lu Jing were tightly embraced, dancing a pulse-pounding routine. Returning from night study, Mom Lee noticed my intense focus and leaned over to look. After seeing the video's content clearly, Mom Lee was absolutely furious. That damned boy, abandoning his fiancée to accompany an outsider, I'll skin him alive. That shameless vixen Su Shanshan has no sense of decency. Lu Jing is about to get engaged, yet she's still clinging to him and dancing like that. I'm going to confront her parents about this tomorrow. Su Shanshan's father is a security guard at our school. Her mother is a cleaning lady. As the school's director, Auntie Lee has always been considerate towards them, until she discovered Lu Jing was secretly dating Su Shanshan. Motherly values social status compatibility. She looked down on Su Shanshan's family background. She wanted Lu Jing to be with me. Because my father is a major, my uncle is the principal of a provincial key high school, and my maternal uncle is a department head, my connections can make Lu Jing's future even brighter. To break up the lovebirds, Motherly would nitpick relentlessly whenever she met Su Shanshan's parents. She hoped Su Shanshan would know her place and stay away from Lu Jing, yet Su Shanshan and her parents clung desperately to Lu Jing, refusing to let go. In our past life, even with my mother-in-law and I joining forces, we couldn't drive Su Shanshan away from Lu Jing's side. By the time I was exhausted and Motherly became frail with age, Su Shanshan successfully married Lu Jing. She even won over my 2 good sons. In this life, I won't stop them anymore, but I won't interfere with Aunt Lee. If Su Shanshan wants to become the Lu family's daughter-in-law, she must pass Aunt Lee's test. Aunt Lee has only one method of punishing Lu Jing: hitting him with a feather duster. Each strike leaves a bloody mark. Exceptionally cruel. I thought Lu Jing, who got beaten, would blame me for secretly reporting him and ignore me. Unexpectedly, he took the initiative to apologize to me. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. I just danced with Shanshan, nothing more. Don't worry, I know my place and won't cross the line. 3. He spoke very sincerely. If I hadn't been sharp-eyed and spotted the hickey on his neck, I might have believed his nonsense. He's always been a liar. When we were kids, he used all sorts of little tricks to deceive me, made me cry for him, laugh for him, and make a scene for him. I don't think he's a bad brother though, because he spoils me a lot. After giving birth, he lied to me saying he had already cut off contact with Su Shanshan. I took our 2 sons to the military base to celebrate his birthday, but in his dorm room, I saw Su Shanshan and her daughter along with a room full of women's belongings. Later, when I was gravely ill and about to die, I asked him to visit me at the hospital. He claimed he was injured and couldn't walk properly. In reality, he was busy preparing for his wedding with Su Shanshan. In my past life, he deceived me for an entire lifetime. In this lifetime, I'll never believe another word he says. As long as I don't believe, he can never deceive me. I gently waved my hand. No need to explain. I have no right to interfere with your freedom. When Su Shanshan sent me the video, your mom happened to be beside me. I didn't tell on you. She just had bad luck. Public displays of affection die fast. If she hadn't deliberately provoked me, trying to assert her dominance in front of me, she wouldn't have been humiliated by Motherly. Lu Jing smiled bitterly. How could you not have the right to interfere with me? Once we receive the admission letter, we'll be engaged. After the engagement, I'll be yours, to command, to serve, to devote myself entirely until my last breath. That won't happen. I won't receive the National University of Defense Technology's admission letter, nor would I ever get engaged to you. You don't have to force yourself like this. There's no need to humor me against your will. Just 14 more days. Bear with it. Lu Jing pressed further. What 14 days? Oh, so he even forgot my birthday. I pushed Lu Jing out of my room. The day you regain your freedom, I'll make it happen for you. After submitting my college applications, I had to prepare for the military physical examination. Under Aunt Lee's strict supervision, Lu Jing never secretly met Su Shanshan again. Lu Jing, whose body was in Chao's camp but his heart was with Han, spent all day glued to his phone, either making lengthy calls or video chatting. Every time Mom Lee caught him, she'd give him a beating. She even handed me the feather duster, urging me to take a few swings to vent my anger. I couldn't be bothered to waste time and energy on it, forget it. Lu Jing thought I couldn't bear to hit him and was quite moved. Don't worry, I was just chatting with her about ordinary topics between friends, nothing else. I know I'm engaged and won't mess around. What does an engagement even mean? Even a marriage certificate couldn't stop him from having a secret affair with Su Shanshan, I responded vaguely. Just running, long jumping, and doing sit-ups every day exhausts me half to death. Plus, I have to practice questions to prepare for psychological tests. I simply don't have the energy to care who he's being ambiguous with. Lu Jing was very worried that Su Shanshan might not pass the interview, and asked me if there was any backdoor approach available. If I had the intention, there would naturally be ways to make it happen, but why should I trouble my own family for someone I dislike? No, weren't you always pursuing fairness and justice? Now you're making an exception for Su Shanshan. Lu Jing was very dissatisfied with my answer, but didn't say anything. He just never initiated conversation with me again afterward. I'd long grown accustomed to his indifference and willful ignorance toward me, so it didn't feel particularly painful. Momly thought we were too stressed to talk. She didn't take it to heart. She just kept finding new ways to cook delicious meals for us every day. On the day we left for the military physical, Lu Jing picked a rose from the garden early in the morning. Momly laughed and said, "This boy finally got a clue and knows to give you flowers." I didn't tell Aunt Lee that it was Su Shanshan who liked roses. These flowers aren't for me. Su Shanshan slapped me the moment we met. You're too vicious. Not content with stealing Lu Jing, you even had Aunt Lee fire my parents. Were Su Shanshan's parents fired? It seems Mother Lee is truly furious this time. But what does this have to do with me? Su Shanshan doesn't dare confront her future mother-in-law directly, so she takes it out on me. If the tiger doesn't show its might, she thinks I'm a sick cat. I raised my hand to strike back, but Lu Jing stopped me. Her parents lost their jobs, and her family is going through tough times. Don't take it to heart with her. If you're really that angry, just hit me instead. A few more hits would be fine too. I laughed in anger. Just because her family is having a hard time, does that give her the right to slap me? Am I her punching bag? I asked Lu Jing. What are you to her? Can you apologize on her behalf and take the beating for her? Only then did Lu Jing remember we had a marriage engagement. As my fiancé, he should stand up for me, yet he still wouldn't let go. If it weren't for that incident, we wouldn't even be engaged. My mom wouldn't be targeting her parents either. Yeah, Shanshan is already suffering. Can't you try to understand her? In our past life, when we were studying together at the National University of Defense Technology, whenever Su Shanshan and I had a disagreement, Lu Jing would always use such words to make me back down. He clearly knew how much I detested that matter, yet he kept bringing it up. To defend Su Shanshan, he didn't hesitate to stab me in the heart, one cut after another, as if I couldn't feel the pain. Now he's treating me this way again, but I won't back down anymore. With a cold expression, I slowly pried Lu Jing's hand away. Lu Jing feared I might make a scene and cause Su Shanshan trouble, so he humbly begged me to forgive her. Yeah, she really didn't mean to hit you. She was just too angry. I took a deep breath and interrupted Lu Jing's words. Should I call the police now? Lu Jing knew that if I called the police, Su Shanshan would have no chance to attend the interview. After hesitating for a moment, Lu Jing stepped aside. I slapped Su Shanshan across the face. At the last moment, Lu Jing still couldn't bear to let Su Shanshan take that slap. He pushed Su Shanshan aside and offered his own face instead. I put all my strength into that slap, leaving a bright red palm print on Lu Jing's face. Su Shanshan exclaimed in shock. Brother Jing, why would you do this? How dare she hit you? I'll avenge you. Lu Jing stopped Su Shans, his eyes red as he asked me, "Is it okay now?" Looking at their angry and aggrieved expressions, it seemed as if I were the one being unreasonable. Forget it, it'll all be over in just 12 days, just bear with it. Lu Jing was completely focused on Su Shanshan, worried that her parents' unemployment might affect her performance and cause her to fail the interview. He didn't even notice that I wasn't in the same examination room as them. During the physical fitness test, Lu Jing finally realized. Ask me if I've modified my application choices. I don't want to talk to him. Nodding lazily, Lu Jing actually felt somewhat angry, suddenly felt I couldn't handle full military-style management, so I decided not to go. Lu Jing pressed me about which school I listed as my first choice. Telling him might make them happier and cause me less trouble. Public Security University, Lu Jing subconsciously murmured, so far away. Staying far away won't disturb your loving relationship. I remained silent and brushed past Lu Jing. As I descended the steps, a hand reached out from behind and pushed me. Though I managed to grab the handrail in time, I still twisted my ankle. Not serious, but it will definitely affect the fitness test results, Su Shanshan sneered. You almost made me fail the interview, so I'll make sure you fail the fitness test too. I glanced at the surveillance camera above and said nothing. The test is about to start. And I don't have time to argue with Su Shanshan. Upon learning that I had sprained my ankle, the examiner moved my name to the end of the list. 5. They even thoughtfully arranged for someone to give me a massage. The first event was a 50-meter dash, which I completed in 15 seconds. Failed. There are 4 projects in total, and I must pass all the remaining 3, otherwise, I won't be able to get into the early admission batch. I'll have to go through the regular admission process. The examiner's gaze at me was also full of concern. In the standing long jump, my first attempt was only 1.4 meters. It wasn't until my third jump that I barely passed. I passed both the subsequent 800-meter run and sit-up tests. I called the police as soon as I left the examination room. Su Shanshan was arrested by the police. Lu Jing was frantic. After failing to negotiate with the police, he reluctantly came to beg me, yeah, can you forgive Shanshan, she didn't mean to. I asked Lu Jing if he had seen the surveillance footage. Had he taken even a single glance, he wouldn't have been able to utter such words. Lu Jing knew deep down that Su Shanshan was doing it on purpose, yet he still made excuses for her. She has some misunderstandings about you. I'll gradually guide her through them. I promise she'll never do anything to hurt you again. Su Shanshan always thought the bar incident was something I staged myself, all to separate her from Lu Jing. That was my hidden scar, yet they kept bringing it up in front of me. Now, Lu Jing has brought it up again. I flatly refused. Your guarantee is useless. You can't control her, nor can you bring yourself to punish her. Lu Jing was extremely embarrassed, for Su Shanshan's audacity, and for my refusal to save face, but he still couldn't let go of Su Shanshan. You really can't, I interrupted Lu Jing's words. Those who do wrong deserve punishment. She got what she deserved. I won't forgive her. In my past life, I was too weak-willed, always unable to be ruthless. That's why Su Shanshan kept trampling over me again and again. This time, I'm determined to teach her a lesson. As I turned to go back to my room, Lu Jing grabbed my arm and pleaded in a low voice. If I were to ask for a favor based on all the kindness I've shown you over the past 10 years, would you grant me this face? Lu Jing had truly been exceptionally good to me these past 10 years. He protected me like an elder brother. Gave in to me, took the blame for me, and even fought and swore for me, especially after my mother passed away. If it weren't for him, I would have developed psychological issues long ago. How could I have even taken the civil service exam? It was precisely because of all his kindness towards me that I couldn't let go of him in my past life, always hoping he would turn back. I had no parents to rely on, no siblings for company, there was only him, back then. I didn't know that once a man has someone in his heart, he can no longer spare a thought for his childhood sweetheart. In this lifetime, there will be no more intersections between him and me. It's time to repay this debt of affection. Fine, remember what you said. From now on, we owe each other nothing. Seeing the finality in my tone, Lu Jing grew somewhat panicked. As he tried to say more to me, I directly shook him off and closed the door, unable to knock my door open. Lu Jing sent an apology text message. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've made you sad again. See, he knows everything, yet he still protects Su Shanshan without hesitation. Apologies are meaningless, you're just following your true feelings. Anyway, I don't love you anymore, no matter how heartbreaking. It's only 6 days, just endure it and it'll pass. After coming out, Su Shanshan not only didn't restrain herself but instead intensified her provocations and insults towards me. You're just a parasite living under someone else's roof. Who do you think you're fooling with that act? Calling the police? Do you really think that'll work? Don't you know Jing's father is a military officer with powerful connections? Could you stop shamelessly clinging to Jing? Even if you stubbornly persist, how long can you keep it up? Once we enter the National University of Defense Technology, we won't return even once a year. Do you think you'll ever see him then? No matter how much Aunt Li protects you, she can't drag Jing back from school for you. Jing doesn't like you at all, so how could he possibly fall for you because of some responsibility you forced upon him? He'll never get engaged to you, and he'll certainly never marry you. Just give up already. I was busy selecting a dress for the coming-of-age ceremony and initially had no intention of paying attention to Su Shanshan. I simply couldn't stand her arrogant and foolish demeanor. Decided to kindly give her some advice. Has Lu Jing never told you? My father is also a major, the same rank as Lu's father. My uncle is the school principal, and my maternal uncle is the department director. If I wanted to destroy you, even Lu Jing couldn't save you. You thought Lu Jing pulled strings to get you released. Wrong. He begged me to spare you and promised there would never be a next time. Only then did I agree to let you go. If I hadn't given my approval, forget about National Defense University, you wouldn't be able to attend any school requiring political vetting, understand? Su Shanshan didn't believe I had such powerful connections. Keep bragging. Whoever saw your dad during high school? When did the principal ever give you special treatment? Is a department head even that important? You're just a homeless loser mooching off the Lu family. 6. The words homeless loser stung me deeply, although I come from a privileged family with many people who could back me up, but I don't have a home. My father is a workaholic and never comes home. The last time I saw him was at my mother's funeral. It's been over 3 years now. Both my uncles are very busy with work and have their own families to take care of. No one has time to look after me. Ever since my mother passed away in a car accident, I've been staying with the Lu family. For the past 3 years, Aunt Li has treated me like her own daughter. I've always treated Aunt Li as my own mother, until I was reborn and came back, recalling all her accusations and coldness towards me after my fallout with Lu Jing in my past life. I could never be as close to her as before. Every day living with the Lu family was pure torment. 3 more days to go. The day before my birthday, my aunt called. There's something I've thought about over and over, and I feel I should tell you. There's new information about that molestation incident. In my past life, I avoided this topic completely. Just hearing the word molestation would send me into a rage. Didn't let Aunt continue. Now I've come to terms with it and want to hear what kept her awake so early in the morning. Speak. The 2 who harassed you were likely instigated by Li Chunmei. They were already heavily drunk at the time and were directed to notice you. According to their accounts and the bar staff's description, that person was probably Li Chunmei. None of the nearby surveillance cameras captured her face clearly, so there's no proof she was at the bar then, nor is there any evidence showing she was the one who told them to harass you. That's why Aunt never mentioned it to you. You know this in your heart. Just don't speak of it to others. After hanging up the phone, I was dazed for a long while. The ones who truly ruined my life weren't those 2 molesters after all. It was Auntie Li, who was like a mother to me. She didn't like Su Shanshan and was attracted to my family background, which is why she came up with this vicious scheme to force Lu Jing to get engaged to me. I was just a pawn she used to break up Lu Jing and Su Shanshan, a stepping stone to pave the way for Lu Jing. No wonder she always encouraged me to compete with Su Shanshan for Lu Jing. After I repeatedly lost to Su Shanshan, she looked down on me for being useless, and stopped paying attention to me when I couldn't win Lu Jing's heart, leaving me alone to struggle through life raising 2 sons. When I fiercely competed with Lu Jing, she stabbed me in the back and schemed against me. From beginning to end, she never truly cared for me. Nothing but calculation and exploitation. Aunt Li pushed the door open with a big smile, holding a large box in her hands. Yeah, Aunt Li has prepared a surprise for you. Open it quickly and see. I obediently took the box and opened it, feigning a look of surprise. Wow, what a beautiful dress. Thank you, Auntie Li. Auntie Li held the dress against me, looking more and more pleased. On your engagement day, will you wear this dress? Yes, I'll wear this dress when I get engaged to Lu Jing. I will give this dress to Su Shanshan. Having her as your daughter-in-law should be quite interesting. You ruined my entire life, and I'll make sure you never have peace either. Holding Aunt Li's arm, I smiled and said, Aunt Li, I have a surprise for you tomorrow too. My coming-of-age ceremony was held at the most luxurious hotel in the city. There weren't many invited guests, just close friends and relatives from both my parents' sides, plus Auntie Li and Lu Jing. Auntie Li was all smiles as she chatted with my relatives. Lu Jing awkwardly greeted my uncles. The waiter came in and asked, Miss Pan, there's a young girl named Su Shanshan outside who says you told her to come. Shall I let her in? Hearing Su Shanshan's name, Lu Jing shuddered and gave me an angry look. Mother Li, however, curled her lips in satisfaction and gave me an approving glance. My aunt sneered as she glanced at Lu Jing. That Su Shanshan who pushed you and nearly made you fail the fitness test. I smiled and nodded. Asking the waiter to invite Su Shanshan in, Lu Jing tried to stop it, but the waiter simply wouldn't listen to him. Su Shanshan was wearing the same white dress she had on when she danced with Lu Jing. She had also done her makeup and tied her hair into a beautiful braid. 7. She was beautiful and confident, standing proudly at the doorway, When Su Shanshan saw me surrounded by the crowd, the light in her eyes instantly dimmed. When Cinderella crashed the prince's ball, there was not only surprise but also self-doubt. Lu Jing immediately stepped forward, using his own body to shield Su Shanshan from the probing gazes of others. He's really considerate. He used to treat me this way too. What brings you here? Lu Jing's eyes were full of concern. Pan Yu sent me here. She said you were going to propose to her today. Brother Jing, could you please not propose to her? I really like you. I know I'm not as good as Pan Yu, but I truly adore you. Su Shanshan's voice gradually trailed off. She had just turned 18, and seeing my birthday made her realize the gap between us. If she were Lu Jing, she would choose me over herself too. She clutched Lu Jing's hand tightly, like a drowning person grasping the only floating log. Seeing my prolonged inaction, Mother Li's face showed impatience, reminded her, yeah, why did you ask her to come, as if suddenly enlightened. I asked the waiter to fetch a large box from the upstairs room and handed it to Su Shanshan. This is the engagement dress Aunt Li gave to her future daughter-in-law. Try it on and see if it fits. Su Shanshan held the box with both hands, looking at Aunt Li in pleasant surprise. Auntie, are you having Lu Jing get engaged to me? And you even gave me a dress. Lu Jing stared at me in panic. He barely managed to convince himself to give up Su Shanshan and get engaged to me. He's been tormented for so long, never expected that I'd suddenly call off the engagement with him. I truly don't want him anymore. They even arranged this awkward daughter-in-law meets the in-laws drama, publicly forcing his mother to accept Su Shanshan. He finally understood what I meant by saying I'd make it happen for him. The panic in Lu Jing's eyes kept growing. I cut him off before he could speak, asking, do you like this surprise? I've been preparing it for you for half a month, Lu Jing. This time you finally don't have to say sorry to me, nor do you need to say thank you, because I didn't have good intentions. Mother Li panicked and snatched the dress back from Su Shanshan. In your dreams, who do you think you are? This dress is for Yaya. Yaya, didn't Aunt Li tell you yesterday? This dress is for you to wear at your engagement. How could you misunderstand her intentions? She's the one who misunderstood. I only accepted the dress, but never said I'd wear it. She gave me a surprise, so naturally I had to return the favor with one of my own. I took the dress from Aunt Li's hands and passed it to Su Shanshan. Lu Jing loves Su Shanshan, so it should naturally be her he gets engaged to. Aunt Li, you shouldn't try to separate this loving couple. True love overcomes all obstacles. You should believe they'll support each other and become better versions of themselves. I also gave Su Shanshan the 4-leaf clover bracelet that Lu Jing had given me as a birthday gift. This is the bracelet Lu Jing bought. Try it on and see if it fits. Lu Jing and Aunt Li were completely dumbfounded. Yeah. Lu Jing reached out to grab me, but I nimbly dodged. I gave the dazed Su Shanshan a push. Go try on the dress. If it doesn't fit, Aunt Li can still make alterations. Su Shanshan thanked me joyfully and followed the attendant, carefully holding the dress. Mother Li stopped Su Shanshan. Halt, that's not yours, you can't touch it. The aunt pulled Mother Li aside to counsel her. Forced fruit is never sweet. This girl seems quite good, she'll surely succeed in the future. Mother Li blurted out. She's just a security guard's daughter. What makes her worthy of my son? If you like her so much, why not make her your daughter-in-law? My aunt spread her hands. She doesn't like my son anyway. Besides, my son already has a girlfriend. She's a prosecutor, quite capable. Mother Li grew even angrier, giving Lu Jing 2 hard pinches before shoving him toward me. Lu Jing, hurry up and explain clearly to Yaya. Tell her it's her you like, not Su Shanshan. Quickly, how could Lu Jing possibly say he likes me in front of Su Shanshan when it would be such an insincere lie? He couldn't bear to let Su Shanshan suffer even the slightest grievance. At the same time, he was well aware of how much he had hurt me to protect Su Shanshan. He even used up the friendship between us. Now what right does he have to say he likes me? Even if he said it, I wouldn't believe him. Lu Jing looked at me with a complicated expression. There was grievance, there was regret. Just as he was about to speak, Su Shanshan came running towards him. Brother Jing, this dress fits me perfectly. Do I look good? Lu Jing nodded, but his gaze remained fixed on me. Su Shanshan was dissatisfied with Lu Jing's perfunctory attitude and lightly punched his chest twice. You didn't even look at me. Don't you want to get engaged with me? Lu Jing didn't respond. His gaze still lingers on me. It's been so long since he looked at me with such focus. Wherever Su Shanshan is, his eyes always unconsciously drift toward her. Now that I'm leaving, he suddenly can't bear to part with me. Upon hearing the word engagement, Mom Li went berserk again. If not for Auntie stopping her, she would have torn Su Shanshan apart with her bare hands. Mom Li, whom I had tricked, brought up the matter of me being molested in front of everyone. It's all Lu Zheng's fault for taking you to the bar but failing to protect you. You must have been so frightened. Are you alright now? Everyone knows that's my Achilles heel. During the first 3 days after it happened, I was completely out of my mind. I neither ate nor slept, causing chaos day and night. Uncles, aunts, maternal uncles, and their wives. No one could calm me down. Only Lu Zheng can make me sleep peacefully. When Aunt Li proposed that Lu Zheng get engaged to me, no one objected. 8. Now that I've finally overcome my difficulties and decided not to get engaged to Lu Zheng, naturally they won't object either. And Aunt Li's words might make me break down again. Both the uncle and the uncle had murderous intent in their eyes. Lu Zheng kept giving Aunt Li meaningful looks, signaling her to stop talking, but Aunt Li, like a blind person who couldn't read the room, kept stepping on my sore spots. In the future, you must never go to places like bars where all sorts of unsavory characters gather. A young girl like you could easily get taken advantage of. The uncle angrily tried to stand up, but the aunt held him back. Teacher Li, you were at the bar that day too, weren't you? Why were you still wearing a mask in the middle of summer? Were you sick or was there something you couldn't disclose? Since you were there, why didn't you just call Yaya home directly, knowing the truth had been exposed? Mother Li didn't dare say another word. To ease the tension, the aunt asked about the admission results. Is Yaya still applying to the National University of Defense Technology? Has the admission list been released? Auntie has already prepared the suitcase, laptop, and other things you'll need for the start of school. I put down my chopsticks. No, I applied to the People's Public Security University, and the admission list just came out. I didn't let everyone down. I got accepted. Why? Relatives and friends expressed many words of praise and blessings. Su Shanshan spoke up at an inopportune moment. You as a public security officer, with your delicate young lady demeanor, could you even endure that hardship? Would a police officer's meager salary be enough to buy you a single dress? Lu Zheng wanted to cover Su Shanshan's mouth, but she playfully kissed his palm instead. Such intimate little gestures were sweet and thrilling when shared between just the two of them. It appears particularly vulgar in public. Lu Zheng blushed crimson, not even daring to lift his head. I retorted calmly and firmly, someone like me is actually most suited for police studies. I can truly remain unyielding to force and unmoved by wealth, serving the people wholeheartedly. If someone like you were to join the police force instead, it would genuinely harm both others and yourself. You'd be easily bribed with petty gains and would yield to the slightest personal threat. My uncle applauded enthusiastically. Well said. Our police system needs talents like you. On behalf of the Provincial Public Security Department, I welcome your joining. My aunt joined in the teasing. Then I'll reluctantly represent the procuratorate to welcome you. Su Shanshan, unaware of the danger, questioned my uncle and aunt on what authority they were representing the Provincial Public Security Department and procuratorate to welcome me. It's not like they own those institutions. Lu Zheng had already given up on trying to manage Su Shanshan. The mocking gazes of the crowd made him wish he could vanish into thin air. Before the meal was even finished, Lu Zheng left with Su Shanshan. Her foolishness only revealed before him is called innocence, exposed before the crowd, it's called humiliation. Mother Li also left midway through the event. After dinner, I didn't return to the Lu residence and stayed directly at the hotel. Aunt sent a staff member to the Lu residence to help me pack my belongings. After staying at the hotel for 2 days, I returned to my own home. No one has lived in my home for 3 years. Except for the withered flowers on the balcony, everything remains the same as when my mother was still here. After tidying up briefly, I put on the clothes my mother used to wear and lay on her favorite rocking chair, dreaming of being loved. My mother was a very beautiful and elegant woman who loved dressing up and having fun. My mother spoiled me, giving me whatever I wanted. She said I grew up without a father around, and was a sensitive girl. She had to give me lots and lots of love so I could grow up healthy, but before I could grow up, she was gone. After receiving the admission letter, I took a photo and sent it to my dad. I want to go see him. I wonder if he's available now. I never got a reply from Dad, but instead received Lu Zheng's apology. Yeah, I'm sorry. When you had conflicts with Shanshan, I always took her side and neglected you. I don't like her, nor have I ever considered getting engaged to her. I just pitied her and wanted to help her. I believe what he said is true. He likes Su Shanshan, but not to the extent of wanting to marry her. In his previous life, half the reason he couldn't forget about Su Shanshan was because he couldn't have what he desired. the harder it is to obtain, the more you desire it. Once it's within easy reach, it suddenly seems uninteresting. After much deliberation, I replied to him with one sentence: I will eventually meet someone who always stands up for me. Whether it's friendship or love, I just want someone who will always stand by my side. On the day I left for school, Lu Jing wanted to see me off at the train station. It wouldn't be good to make your girlfriend misunderstand. Lu Jing frowned slightly. She's not my girlfriend. I've already made it clear to her. I smiled faintly. She doesn't see it that way. After accepting Aunt Li's engagement dress, Su Shanshan has been presenting herself as Lu Jing's fiancée. She even sent me a message warning me to stay away from her man. After I blocked her, she borrowed a phone to text me again. It annoyed me to no end. I considered changing my phone number. Lu Jing didn't speak, just took the luggage from my hands and walked away. I deliberately walked very slowly behind, keeping a long distance. 9. I don't look at him, nor do I speak to him, ignoring him just as he ignored me in his past life. Lu Jing sensed my aloofness and turned his head several times as if wanting to say something. In the end, he kept his mouth shut. He knew that some things could never go back to how they were. Maybe it was compensation, maybe it was just politeness. Lu Jing bought me a huge bag of snacks at the station supermarket. I picked out a pack of plain sunflower seeds from it. Lu Jing was surprised. Don't you like any of the others? Don't all girls like these kinds of things, Shanshan? He couldn't go 3 sentences without mentioning Su Shanshan, yet claims he doesn't like her. Is he lying to me or lying to himself? Not all girls like those snacks. It's Su Shanshan who likes them. You remembered all her preferences, but forgot even that I like plain sunflower seeds. Lu Jing suddenly covered his face, lowering his head in guilt as he choked out an apology. I'm sorry, I smiled in relief, pulling my luggage toward the ticket gate. I didn't even say goodbye to Lu Jing, because I never wanted to see him again. I took the slow train with sleeper berths to enjoy the scenery along the way. The girl sitting across from me saw me holding a civil code book and asked if I was a freshman, and which school I attended. Upon asking, I learned her name was Wei Wei, and she was also from the Public Security University. That was truly rare. This year, the university only recruited 2 female students from our entire province. I happened to meet her right after boarding the bus. She was quite outgoing and familiar, calling me sister after just 3 minutes of conversation, and even added me on WeChat. We studied the civil code together and shared our dreams and future plans, sharing snacks together. The more we talked, the more we clicked. It felt like we should have met sooner. It wasn't until I got off the car that I glanced at my phone and saw a message from Lu Jing. I'm sorry. I've neglected you these past 2 years. How can I make it up to you? Not 2 years. It's 30 years, and I don't need to make up for it. I deleted all of Lu Jing's contact information, also changed my phone number. During winter vacation, I went back home and visited my homeroom teacher. I accidentally heard him mention that Su Shanshan had been expelled and was currently repeating a grade. I was quite surprised. She was doing fine. How could she get expelled? The homeroom teacher looked somewhat embarrassed. I heard it was because she stole from her roommate. I guessed right. She couldn't resist temptation. Was this also the reason she got expelled in her past life? Why did Lu Jing mistakenly think it was me who did it back then? Was it his habit to blame me for every bad thing that happened to Su Shanshan? In this life, I wasn't at the National University of Defense Technology and had already cut ties with him early on. That's why he didn't suspect me. A year later, I went on a mission with my senior brothers and saw Su Shanshan at a nightclub. She was intimately embracing a shifty-eyed rich second-generation heir. I suddenly realized that in her past life, she might not have married that idle rich heir just to make Lu Jing give up on her. She had a flash marriage precisely because she liked his money, clearly bending for money, yet deliberately leaving Lu Jing with the beautiful illusion of love's sacrifice, to make Lu Jing live in guilt for the rest of his life. Later when she left the rich second generation, it might not necessarily be due to domestic violence, because by that time the rich second generation's family had gone bankrupt. Lu Jing was no longer under his parents' control. He had money, power, and connections, and his relationship with me wasn't good. Seeing hope of rekindling her old flame with Lu Jing, she sought his protection under the pretense of domestic violence. Lu Jing still had lingering feelings for her and owed her a favor, so they hit it off immediately. Lu Jing maintained the boundaries of a married man and never crossed the line with Su Shanshan. Su Shanshan couldn't sit still anymore and started sending me suggestive photos and videos. She deliberately provoked me, wanting me to confront Lu Jing and target her. The more I made things difficult for her, the more Lu Jing felt guilty and protective of her. It was through these petty tricks that she gradually drove a wedge between me and Lu Jing, ultimately succeeding in taking my place. In my past life, both Lu Jing and I were targets of her schemes. I can't believe I lost to such a despicable person, and in such a humiliating way. This grudge can't just be left unsettled. Rich kids are also our targets. As long as Su Shanshan's urine test comes back positive, she's done for. Just look at her seductive demeanor, you can tell she's anything but innocent. Under my malicious inducement, Su Shanshan joyfully received 3 charges: provoking trouble, resisting arrest, and assaulting police officers. In the end, Su Shanshan was sentenced to 4 years. During her days in detention, Su Shanshan repeatedly sought help from Lu Jing. Lu Jing couldn't even leave the school gate. How could he possibly come to Beijing to save her? During the spring festival of my junior year, I met Lu Jing at a class reunion. He was wearing a military uniform, tall and handsome, with an air of righteousness. He stood out strikingly among a group of meticulously dressed men. Most of the women's gazes lingered on him. Everyone was very warm when they saw me. It wasn't because they missed me after years apart. It's simply because we've all matured and understood the importance of interpersonal relationships. I share the same thoughts as them. Handling cases also requires strong connections. Every student present here has the potential to become a future industry leader or business tycoon. I fear no one, nor will I easily offend anyone. I was already prepared for Lu Jing to confront me about Su Shanshan. 10. To my surprise, his first words were, "That dress is really beautiful. It suits your temperament perfectly." I calmly replied with a simple thank you. Whether it's his compliments or criticisms, they can no longer stir my emotions. A classmate mentioned the incident of Su Shanshan being sentenced. Lu Jing, didn't you attend National University of Defense Technology together? Why did she drop out? And what landed her in jail in Beijing? Lu Jing took a sip of wine and said calmly, "I wasn't very close to her. I don't know about her affairs." With just a few words, "Not very close and don't know," he glossed over the person who once made his heart race. So, he could be this cold towards Su Shanshan too. How ridiculous. In my past life, despite 30 years of effort, I never managed to make Lu Jing forget Su Shanshan. In this life, without lifting a finger, they've already gone their separate ways. Is this divine will or man-made? Lu Jing invited me to his place for a few days. The schedule is packed. I really can't spare the time. Lu Jing's eyes darkened. Is there really no chance for us anymore? I reminded Lu Jing. We're nothing more than strangers now. After all, you've already used our past bond to plead for Su Shanshan. As I said, from now on we owe each other nothing. Lu Jing never spoke to me again, just kept drinking one glass after another. His alcohol tolerance was excellent. All the other guys combined were no match for him. The night grew deeper, and the girls left one after another. I'm getting ready to leave too. Lu Jing, who was drinking competitively, stood up. I'll walk you. Refusal probably wouldn't work on him, so I chose to remain silent. Lu Jing escorted me to the hotel entrance. He finally asked the question that had been troubling him. Why haven't you contacted my mom? I didn't want to answer, but he insisted on getting to the bottom of it. Has my mother ever wronged you in any way? Why did you even delete her WeChat? Since he was determined to know, I decided not to keep Aunt Lee's secret anymore, so he wouldn't think I'm a heartless and ungrateful person. Better to let him give up sooner. Because those 2 men who molested me were instigated by her. That night, she was also in the bar. Lu Jing stumbled backward, nearly falling to the ground. This can't be. She wouldn't do this to you. I sneered with a mocking smile. Why don't you go ask her yourself? Lu Jing refused to believe it could be a drama orchestrated by his own mother. No, she wouldn't treat you like this. She's always regarded you as her own daughter. I retorted, if she didn't have a guilty conscience, why hasn't she contacted me for 3 years? Didn't Su Shanshan keep telling you it was all my own doing? And didn't you believe her? So why won't you believe it was your mother's own doing now? Lu Jing didn't dare to look at me. He was guilty, so he did suspect me. He would rather believe Su Shanshan's slander about me than trust my character. I no longer have the slightest thought of him left. Just go. I don't want to see you anymore. After Lu Jing left, I immediately asked Wei Wei to go on a trip with me overnight. Lu Jing changed 3 phone numbers to call me, and I blocked them all. After graduating from university, Wei Wei and I started working at the provincial department. On our first day at work, we received a thick stack of blind date profiles. The materials we received were almost identical. When visiting my uncle's house for dinner, I received yet another folder of blind date profiles. It was personally compiled by my aunt. These are carefully selected based on your preferences. Everyone comes from a respectable family with clean backgrounds. You could pick any of them blindly. I don't want to choose. 11. Immediately passed it on to Wei Wei. 3 months later, Wei Wei had a whirlwind marriage. She took a liking to my aunt's nephew, became my relative. 3 years later, Lu Jing appeared in my office. I heard you're still single. Would you consider me? I raised my eyebrows slightly and asked him calmly. Do you really think that's possible? Lu Jing smiled bitterly. I knew you'd say that. It's okay, I'll wait until your anger subsides. I've already applied for a transfer to my superiors, and I'll be relocated here in 3 months. I want to buy an apartment here. Do you have any recommended properties? No, I'm very busy with work. Take care on your way out. After Lu Jing left, I applied to my superiors for a transfer. By the time Lu Jing bought a house and came to the bureau to look for me, I was already gone. When I turned 30, Lu Jing came looking for me again. Yeah, I know you're still unmarried. Can't you really consider me? All these years I haven't made a single female friend. I've been waiting for you. Every time I meet old high school classmates, they always mention Lu Jing to me. They say he achieved remarkable success at a young age and praise his resourcefulness. They also express regret that he never met the right person, but I never waited for Lu Jing. I'm not getting married not because I lack a partner, but because I'm a marriage-free and child-free advocate. I do have a boyfriend. Lu Jing was momentarily stunned, then chuckled. Yeah, stop joking. I know you're a very traditional woman. If you truly had someone you fancied, how could you possibly remain unmarried all this time? A strikingly handsome, tall and well-built man emerged from the bedroom wearing a bathrobe. Honey, who is he, your colleague or the new neighbor? Lu Jing immediately noticed the ambiguous red marks on the man's chest and looked at me in disbelief. Ask Lu Jing if he wants to come in for a cup of tea. Lu Jing fled in panic. I closed the door and was about to go back to sleep for a while longer. The man pinned me against the door. Is he your ex-boyfriend, coming to get back together with you? I smacked Wei Chen right on the forehead. You'd better tone it down, otherwise, don't blame me for not giving your sister face and kicking you out. To put it nicely, you're my boyfriend. To put it bluntly, you're just my F***ck buddy. Stay out of my personal affairs. In every way, Wei Chen completely changed from his domineering CEO demeanor, circling around me like an eager puppy. I know I was wrong, sister. I'll properly fulfill my role as a boyfriend, next time he comes. I'll definitely show the dignity of the main partner. I won't let you lose face in public. After sending Wei Chen away, I immediately called Wei Wei to scold her. Was it you who gave Lu Jing my address? What were you thinking? Want to see him fight your brother? If you want to teach your brother a lesson, just tell me directly, no need to involve outsiders. Wei Wei sipped her coffee loudly, like a starving pig scrambling for food. I just felt bad seeing him search everywhere for you without finding a single clue. What, did he come at the wrong time and disturb your sleep? I snorted coldly. Pitying men brings a lifetime of misfortune. Wei Wei sighed. My poor brother. Had I known your heart was as hard as stone, I would never have introduced him to you in the first place. As if anyone actually wanted him. You can always introduce him to a more tender-hearted deity now. It's too late, just now. My brother called to ask me how to make his romantic rival surrender without a fight, without even having a proper title, trying to scheme another marriage proposal for her brother again. As long as I don't take the bait, no one can convince me to get married. What does it really matter whether you get married or not, if we can stay together for life? What does that little certificate matter, if feelings change? A marriage certificate can't save anything. Isn't it nice to be free and follow your heart? Lu Jing's side story. I thought I had plenty of time to win Pan Yu back. I thought she just needed time to forgive me. I waited patiently for her to forget those unpleasant things, until I saw that man in a bathrobe in her house. So she had already fallen in love with someone else. How could the girl I protected for 18 years be taken away by another man? The moment I saw him, I had only one thought, kill him, but I didn't dare. I've already made Yaya unhappy. Acting out in front of her again would only make her angrier. I turned back and found Uncle Pan. Uncle Pan has always liked me. As long as he steps in to mediate for us, I always have some chance. But Uncle Pan said he hadn't been able to contact Yaya for a whole year. How is that possible? He is her father after all. 11. It was then that I remembered Uncle Pan was rarely home and had a very distant relationship with Yaya, when Auntie passed away. He only came back for a week before leaving again. He never returned after that. He didn't even come back for Lian Yaya's 18th birthday. This father of hers has never fulfilled his responsibilities. During her toughest 3 years, only my mother and I stayed by her side, and yet, we both betrayed her. The truly pitiable girl was never the impoverished Su Shanshan, it was Yaya, who appeared privileged but was actually lonely. She had several mountains behind her, yet not a single one was her true support. My mother's kindness toward her was calculated, and my care had long been given to another. She lived alone in this world, with no one to truly love or accompany her. So now, she doesn't love any of us. What have I done? Why treat her like that? Why do I feel she's so competent and doesn't need me? Why can't I ever see her helplessness and bitterness? Now, she finally doesn't want me anymore, nor does she want Uncle Pan anymore. This is the retribution we deserve. Su Shanshan came to me again wanting to reconcile. A woman who's been with several men and even served time in prison isn't worthy of a second glance from me. If she hadn't kept playing the victim and seeking sympathy in front of me, Yaya wouldn't have left me. I hate her and want to frame her into prison again. The thought of my mother made me agree. Took her back to my hometown to visit my mother. I said to her, "If you can convince my mother to accept you as her daughter-in-law, I'll marry you." Just as I guessed, my mom and Su Shanshan tormented each other for over half a year. The more they tried to adjust, the more they wished the other would drop dead. Later they had a huge fight, both ended up in the hospital. My mom threatened me, saying if I dared marry Su Shanshan, she'd jump to her death. Later, I didn't marry Su Shanshan. It wasn't because I was afraid my mother would commit suicide. Because I caught the eye of the commander's daughter, Ya Qianling. She was desperate and insisted on marrying no one but me. The commander, helpless against his precious daughter's persistence, came to ask me personally what I thought. What could I possibly think? Such a spoiled and willful woman is naturally the one to marry and bring home to serve my mother. On the wedding day, my mother put on her mother-in-law airs, making Yao Qianling kneel and serve her tea. Yao Qianling was a pampered darling who grew up being doted on. When had she ever knelt to anyone? She raised her hand and splashed the tea onto my mother's face. My mother swung her hand to strike, but Yao Qianling grabbed her wrist and started arm wrestling with her. The guests couldn't suppress their snickers. Both the commander and my father flushed red with embarrassment, unsure what to do. They all turned to look at me. I won't take sides with anyone. This daughter-in-law is the well-matched, privileged young lady my mother wanted, someone who could help advance my career. What reason does she have not to be tolerant? This family was one that Yao Qianling cried and made a scene over, threatening the commander countless times just to marry into. What reason did she have to not accept my mother as her mother-in-law? I poured all my energy into work, completely ignoring how my mother and wife were causing chaos at home. When I was in a good mood, I'd go back to visit and spend time with the kids. When I was in a bad mood, I'd just stay at the office. My wife praises me for being good. Unlike other men who only side with their mothers to bully their wives, she says I'm an exceptional man, capable, ambitious, and never fool around outside. Marrying me was the best decision she ever made in her life. Are women really this easy to satisfy? Is Yaya the same way? My mom scolded me for being unfilial, saying I let my wife bully her. I told her to think about Su Shanshan, ask her whether she really wants Su Shanshan as a daughter-in-law or Yao Qianling. My mother blurted out that she wanted Panyu to be her daughter-in-law. I couldn't hold back anymore and rushed out of the house, silently crying in the heavy rain. I also want to marry Panyu, but it was all too late. She who kept saying she'd never marry or have children got married to the man who wore a bathrobe at her house. She's no longer the childhood sweetheart who used to circle around me, nor does she call my mom Aunt Lee anymore. Our fate ended the first time I felt pity for Su Shanshan. The rest of my life is long, but I can never softly call her Yaya again. If my mother hadn't found someone to harass her back then, perhaps we could have been a happy family. It's all my fault. Why are you being so nice to Su Shanshan, making everyone mistakenly think I like her? If only I could have seen through myself and Yaya earlier, maybe our child would already be as tall as me by now. If time could be reversed, I'd give anything to make it happen. Story 2. After the car accident, my foster brother thought I had lost my memory. He pointed at his good friend, Lu Qizhou, and played a trick on me. This is your boyfriend, in my previous life. I exposed my foster brother's lie on the spot and still pestered him relentlessly. Eventually, I died a tragic death in the mental hospital where my foster brother secretly detained me. 3 years after my death, Lu Qizhou, who was depressed and unhappy, committed suicide by slashing his wrists in front of my grave. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day of the car accident. This time, I directly opened my arms towards Lucijo. Honey, give me a hug. My foster brother across from me accidentally crushed the medicine bowl in his hand, and the man in front of me had red eyes and hoarsely pulled me into his arms. Okay. 1. In the hospital ward, the smell of disinfectant was pungent. My foster brother, Eugenian, and his good friend, Lucijo, stood side by side in front of me. I shook my head, which felt like it was about to burst, and was dazed for a moment. The scene in front of me seemed extremely unreal. Where am I? Who am I? Eugenian thought I had lost my memory and was the first to point at Lucijo beside him, with a hint of amusement in his eyes. He explained, "You're my sister, Chinsini. This is your boyfriend, Lucijo." I looked at Lucijo in shock. The man's cold and handsome eyebrows were lowered, tinged with a bit of desolation. He deliberately avoided looking at me, but his gaze landed on me subtly. There was clearly a sense of forbearance, just like in the previous life, too. In my previous life, I had a crush on my foster brother, Eugenian, for many years and pestered him until he couldn't bear it anymore. After the car accident, he thought I had lost my memory. In order to get rid of my entanglement, he deliberately said that Lucijo was my boyfriend. Actually, when I first woke up from the car accident, I did have a short-term memory loss, but soon, I returned to normal. Facing Eugenian's prank, I didn't think much of it. Instead, I stubbornly exposed Eugenian's lie on the spot. Just to prove desperately that I hadn't lost my memory, I carefully tugged at the hem of Eugenian's clothes, and my eyes were wet with tears. Brother, I haven't lost my memory. I'm not lying. Eugenian had no choice but to hold me in his arms with a straight face, just like he did every time I cried in the past 5 years. I'm sorry, Shinshin. Brother made a mistake. I was overjoyed and quickly threw that episode to the back of my mind. I pestered Eugenian as usual. Since I was 16 years old, I had realized that I had unusual feelings for my foster brother. Every time he was in a relationship, I would deliberately ruin it. The book said it was due to possessiveness. I didn't comment. Eugenian also tacitly allowed my various out-of-line behaviors. Several times, when dealing with those girlfriends, he was the one secretly intervening. He indulged me in my wild acts and also let me pester him relentlessly. I was dead drunk and hugged Eugenian, asking for a kiss. He didn't push me away. Instead, he tensed his body and let me take what I wanted from him. At that time, I self-righteously thought that Eugenian also liked me, but I overlooked the most important thing. He had never admitted his feelings for me personally. I hugged Eugenian and kissed him for a long time until he suddenly woke up and disgustedly ordered me to get off. Eugenian touched his swollen lips and playfully raised the corner of his mouth. Chinsini, how can you like your own brother? You're really a pervert. I woke up like from a dream, as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over my head. My whole body felt stiff and unbearable. I really didn't. The voice of my explanation gradually weakened. The tone of my retort suddenly became high-pitched. You don't like me, huh? The disgust in his eyes stabbed my heart. I couldn't answer. Privately, I did like Eugenian. I was an orphan. Only my brother was good to me in the whole world. How could I not like him? Eugenian seemed to have spied on my secret and hated me even more. A pervert like you only deserves to be locked up in a mental hospital for a good reform. 3. My thoughts returned. I looked at Eugenian, who had a smile on the corner of his mouth, in shock. He was also looking up at me quietly, with undisguised amusement in his eyes. In an instant, goosebumps covered my body, and I couldn't help but shiver. My nails dug deep into the flesh, and the pain forced me to stay rational. I looked directly at Eugenian and replied word by word, I got it, brother. In this life, I don't want to have any more entanglements with him. Everything came to an end at the moment of my tragic death in the previous life. The days in the mental hospital were extremely difficult. Eugenian came to see me every 2 weeks. I really couldn't stand the days of being beaten and electrocuted every day, so I cried and begged him to let me out. I cried out with all my might, brother, I was wrong. I don't like you anymore. Every time, Eugenian just looked down at me coldly and spoke without any emotion. Chinsini, it seems like you're having another episode. As soon as the words fell, excruciating pain followed. I tried to contact everyone I knew, begging them to save me, but Eugenian had already made preparations. He kept my whereabouts a secret, and the news couldn't be passed on at all. In just half a year, I was tortured to death. After my death, Eugenian went crazy. He held my body and refused to let go. He said he regretted it. He said he liked me. He cried and repeated his awkwardness and fear over and over again. falling in love with his foster sister would make others look at him with malicious eyes. At that time, my soul was standing aside. Watching all this coldly, I just felt like vomiting. Even now, when I see Eugenian, I still feel physically nauseous, so, I turned my gaze to Lucijo beside me. I opened my arms towards him and coquettishly said, holding back my tears, "Honey, give me a hug." Clang, the sound of the porcelain shattering was particularly harsh in the hospital ward. I looked sideways slightly. Eugenian's palm was covered in blood, and the brown medicine juice mixed with the blood and flowed to the ground. It was extremely disgusting. He stood there, and the amusement in his eyes disappeared without a trace. What replaced it was endless anger. However, I didn't have the energy to care about him now. All my attention was on Lucijo. Since that honey just now, Lucijo's eyes had quickly turned red. He stiffened his body and looked up at me in surprise. A mixture of confusion and excitement surged in his eyes, and finally condensed into a deep tremor. His lips moved, and his voice was hoarse. He took a few quick steps forward, hugged me tightly, and replied in a low voice by my ear, "Okay." Eugenian clenched his injured fist, and blood gushed out continuously. He coughed a few times, raised his injured left hand, and held it in front of me. The smell of blood made me frown. Lucijo quietly moved me aside and pulled his windbreaker to wrap me tightly. I stuck my head out of his arms, and then a warm palm covered my eyes. "Don't look, it's disgusting." After saying that, Lucijo stood in front of me and looked at Eugenian angrily. The disgust in his eyes was undisguised. "You clearly know that she's afraid of pain and blood. You're deliberately trying to disgust her, right?" A strange feeling welled up in my heart. I pushed away Lucijo's palm and looked up to carefully examine his pale face. His features were delicate, exactly the same as in my memory. Looking closely, he seemed more severe than before. In my memory, Lucijo had always been taciturn. This was the first time I had seen him accuse someone so mercilessly like today. Apparently, Eugenian also found it incredible. "It's none of your business." Eugenian rolled his eyes and shakily stretched his hand over, as if looking forward to my reaction. Sheen, I'm injured. If it were before, I would definitely be in a hurry to find ointment, applying it to Eugenian while shedding tears. But now, I shrank a little more into Lucijo's arms and looked at the dirty hand with disgust. "Brother, there are doctors and nurses outside. I don't know how to treat illnesses." I interrupted him irritably. "I'm sleepy. I want to go home." Out of the corner of my eye, I accidentally saw someone's upturned mouth, like a proud puppy wagging its tail. There was nothing seriously wrong with my body. The doctor said I could go home and recuperate. Lucijo refused to let me walk no matter what and insisted on carrying me out. Eugenian's face darkened, and he finally exploded at that moment. He tightly grasped my arm. Sheen, didn't you say you wanted to go home?" I pried his fingers off one by one, leaving a red mark on my skin. "Yeah, I'm going back to my boyfriend's home." "Is there something wrong with that, brother?" "Chinsini, don't regret it." Eugenian laughed self-deprecatingly and almost growled through gritted teeth. "Regret? I only regretted not seeing my own heart clearly earlier. I only regretted that in my previous life I was like a fool, being played around by Eugenian." Lucijo carried me to the car and carefully fastened the seatbelt for me. He started the car, stepped on the gas hard, and sped away. Along the way, his palm covered my fist and never let go. When we got home, I felt uncomfortable all over and wanted to take a bath. Lucijo thoughtfully prepared the bath water. He took out an unopened bottle of essential oil from the locker. When opened, it was the jasmine scent I liked. Then Lucijo opened the cloakroom and picked out a set of home clothes with tags from inside. Surprisingly, it fit my size perfectly. I was a bit puzzled. Lucijo scratched his head, and his face turned red to the roots of his ears. "I thought it suited you when I was shopping, so I bought it casually." "Casually bought so many?" I pointed behind him at the women's clothes that occupied most of the cloakroom. They were all new, and they were all from the brands I liked. Don't get me wrong, I just, I blinked at him, looking forward to what he would say next. Lucijo sighed, with an expression of "I'm not pretending anymore." What's wrong with buying clothes for my own girlfriend? Was this still the Lucijo in my memory, who was so inferior and sensitive that he would blush when talking to me for one more sentence? In my previous life, until I died in the mental hospital, I didn't have much interaction with him, so much so that after my death, I only barely glimpsed Lucijo's deep love for me. In my previous life, my soul was always imprisoned in the apartment where I lived before. After realizing my special feelings for Eugenian, I moved out of the Yu family. After learning of my death, Lu Qizhou went to Eugenian alone to ask for an explanation. What kind of explanation could there be? The latter claimed that I had a serious illness and died of ineffective treatment. He didn't even have the right to check the truth. At night, Lu Qizhou easily cracked the password of the apartment door lock. I watched in surprise as he rushed in and stumbled into my room. When my soul floated over, I only saw his tall body curled up in a ball, lying on my bed. His back was shaking, and a large area of the pillow was wet with tears. I wanted to comfort Lu Qizhou, but I didn't know where to start, so I just sat by the bed and quietly watched him. Later, I couldn't help but reach out and touch the top of his fluffy hair. Unfortunately, I was just a ghost. I couldn't really touch Lu Qizhou. My palm passed through his hair. I stroked the back of his head as if coaxing a child. Lu Qizhou, don't cry anymore. If you cry anymore, I won't be able to resist kissing you. The delicate face under my palm trembled for a moment. Lu Qizhou suddenly opened his eyes, and big tears rolled down. Then he closed his eyes in despair again. Liar. The air fell silent. Only the low sobbing sound kept echoing in the room. 7. From that day on, Lu Qizhou moved into the apartment and accompanied my soul. Others laughed at him for being a fool. I also thought he was a fool, because Lu Qizhou always liked to talk to himself. He would share happy things with the air one moment and pour out his bad mood the next. I listened silently beside him, quietly watching his cold face covered with tears. Lu Qizhou got thinner day by day. I knew he was sick. There were always big boxes of medicine on the dining table. I advised him to live well. Unfortunately, it was useless. He couldn't hear me at all. We lived together day and night for a full 3 years, but we were like two lonely souls, separated by an insurmountable barrier. We couldn't touch, couldn't reach, and couldn't hear each other. The longer I stayed in the human world, the more transparent my soul became. I thought that before long, I would completely disappear from this world. Lu Qizhou still went out early and came back late every day. I couldn't leave the apartment and didn't know what he was busy with. Until the 3rd anniversary of my death, Lu Qizhou deliberately turned on the TV and tuned to the news channel. Before going out, he took a deep look in my direction. My eyebrows twitched. I always felt that something was about to happen. Soon, the TV station broadcast an emergency news dash. Yu Jianian, the head of the Yu family, died in a car accident. The incident was suspected to be due to personal grudges, and the perpetrator had fled. Currently, the police are making every effort to hunt down the perpetrator. It was Lu Qizhou. He was so stupid. I was extremely flustered. My soul generated huge energy and actually broke through the obstruction of the apartment. Following the guidance of some kind of energy, I floated to my grave. Lu Qizhou was hugging my tombstone, crying like a fool. Xin, I finally avenged you. There were several empty medicine bottles and empty beer cans at his feet. I was running around anxiously beside him. In the huge cemetery, there was not a single person, and no one noticed Lu Qizhou's abnormality. Lu Qizhou, I order you, don't die. Do you hear me? My almost hysterical roar briefly woke up his consciousness. Lu Qizhou took a deep look at me, and a satisfied smile spread across his face. You came to pick me up, right? As soon as the words fell, he used a dagger to resolutely cut the skin on his scar-covered wrist. Chinsini, if there is an afterlife, I will definitely bravely hold your hand. 8. Fortunately, God gave me a chance to be reborn. Looking at the handsome face so close at hand, my face turned red, and my eyes filled with tears. The appearance of Lu Qizhou before his death deeply stabbed my heart. I grimaced in pain. A warm palm gently stroked my face, slowly wiping away the tears from the corners of my eyes. Does the wound hurt again? The car accident wasn't serious, and I only had superficial injuries on my body. Compared to the injuries in my previous life, it was nothing. I didn't feel pain anymore. I don't want Lu Qizhou to know about my rebirth. I nodded and greedily savored Lu Qizhou's warmth. It hurts so much, it's killing me. Only a kiss can make it better. You're so delicate. Lu Qizhou licked his lips, and his black pupils sparkled. Just a kiss, is that enough? Before I could react, someone held the back of my head. An overwhelming kiss came crashing in. It was as if he wanted to crush me completely. I was kissed so hard that I couldn't breathe. Just then, my phone rang inappropriately. It was Eugenian calling. I didn't want to answer it, but the other side seemed tireless and showed no sign of stopping. Impatiently, I tried to hang up the phone, but accidentally pressed the answer button. Xin, brother has thought about it. You'd better go home and live there. It's better to have an aunt taking care of you. A muffled groan accidentally escaped from the corner of my mouth. Eugenian must be crazy. Sheen, what are you doing? Answer me, don't get distracted. I didn't have time to answer. My finger was held and used to end the call. Half an hour later, I was still clinging to Lu Qizhou and couldn't get down. The sound of pounding on the door mixed with curses came from outside. Lu Qizhou, who allowed you to touch her? 9. Eugenian is really noisy. I don't want to pay attention to him, but he doesn't seem to be planning to leave. I got down from Lu Qizhou's body with a sullen face. He rubbed the top of my disheveled hair and smiled with his eyes and eyebrows curving. Be good. I'll go and drive him away. Lu Qizhou opened the door with swollen lips. As soon as the door was opened a crack, Eugenian rushed in like a madman. His gloomy gaze swept back and forth over me. Finally, it landed on my neck, which was covered with red marks. How dare you touch her, Lu Qizhou? How dare you touch her? Eugenian shouted, and with hatred in his fist, he slammed it in the direction behind him. She lost her memory. Don't you know that? This is taking advantage of her vulnerability. I let out a cry of surprise. I saw Lu Qizhou turn his head aside and dodge the approaching fist. Is this still the Lu Qizhou I know? Is he so agile? His moves were fierce, and every punch landed on the flesh. In just a few moves, he completely subdued Eugenian and threw him out the door. Get lost, stop pestering her. The door slammed shut, leaving me with only his gloomy back. When he turned around again, the tenderness on Lu Qizhou's face returned as before. Were you scared? I was simply amazed. I was so stunned that I couldn't move. No, there's something wrong with Lu Qizhou. Are you hiding something from me? Lu Qizhou scratched his head and nodded shyly. Yeah, you said you liked it, so I secretly practiced. What? His slender fingers pointed to his waist and abdomen. Do I like abdominal muscles? When did I say that? I remembered, in my previous life, when I looked at that row of neatly arranged abdominal muscles every day but could only look and not touch. I did express my covetousness for them. No, how could Lu Qizhou know that? I looked at the man in front of me suspiciously. Just in time, I met those eyes filled with a smile. I know that loves eating pancakes is your alternate account. He's been observing me carefully enough. I did post some radical comments on certain types of videos with my alternate account, but don't I have any dignity? Being exposed like this so straightforwardly, how can I use my naughty ideas on Lu Qizhou in the future? Forget it. I gave in and rubbed my hands excitedly. I stared at Lu Qizhou's firm abdominal muscles with great anticipation. Can I touch them? His handsome face quickly turned crimson. After a while, a response as soft as a mosquito's murmur came from above my head. Okay. 10. The next day, I propped myself up from his abdominal muscles. Lu Qizhou's body was reddened by my weight. He was a well-behaved sleeper and hardly moved at all throughout the night, when I was a soul before. I shared the same bed with Lu Qizhou for a full 3 years, but after turning back into a human, this was the first time I had lain together with him. Once the excitement wore off, a sense of shyness swept over me. I blushed and tried to run away, but he caught my ankle and pulled me back onto him. His thin lips touched my lips and rubbed playfully. Are you shy? You didn't look like this when you asked me to call you master last night. I pushed the person in front of me away with a tremble. I'm hungry. Lu Qizhou squinted his eyes, but his fingers didn't stop moving. I quickly explained. I'm hungry in my stomach. Just then, my stomach growled twice appropriately. Lu Qizhou retracted his hand a little disappointedly and looked at me leisurely. But here also says it's hungry. When we finished tidying up and came out of the room, the aunt had left after making lunch. The table was full of my favorite dishes. After lunch, Lu Qizhou asked me, do you have any plans for today? I lost my memory and can't remember anything. I deliberately teased him. Tell me, how did we fall in love before? Lu Qizhou's face turned red, and he shook his head proudly. You just liked to stay with me and never wanted to be apart. Then where did we usually like to go for fun? I don't know if it was my illusion, but Lu Qizhou's face darkened, and a flash of sadness passed through his eyes. He fell into thought, as if recalling something from a long time ago. We liked to stay at home. Thinking of this morning, my waist still aches now. I definitely can't stay at home today. Lu Qizhou, let's go to the home furnishings mall. The house is so cold and deserted everywhere. I don't like it. Lu Qizhou doesn't like the hustle and bustle. There aren't many items in the house, and the decorations are all in cold tones. There's no trace of the warmth of daily life at all. I want to add my own color to this house, not just a few clothes in the cloakroom, but everything, because Lu Qizhou is always worried about losing me. if I disappear for just a few seconds, he will immediately rush over to check on me. Only when he sees that I'm safe and sound will he heave a sigh of relief and hold me tightly in his arms. Shin, I thought I would never be able to find you again. There were tears in his eyes, and he breathed heavily. When I can't see you, I always feel like something is missing, so I want to fill this void by occupying this territory. 11. In just one day, the house has completely changed. I placed my favorite plush toys on the bedside and the sofa. Lu Qizhou said they were childish, but I caught him secretly squeezing the toys until they were out of shape. The gray beddings were replaced with sweet pink ones. The slippers were changed to cute rabbit-shaped ones. I also picked out a new set of pajamas for Lu Qizhou, which was a couple style with mine. I also placed my favorite freshly cut flowers in the living room. It was a bunch of brightly blooming Chinese roses. They were orange-red, as beautiful as the warm winter sun. On the marble countertop of the bathroom, there were a pair of porcelain dolls with their faces pressed together. One was a boy, and the other was a girl. Lu Qizhou insisted that the girl looked like me, with a round face and very cute. I insisted that the boy looked like him, a bit clumsy and very kissable. We refused to admit each other's words and wouldn't give in to each other. Finally, we unanimously decided to place the dolls beside the mirror. We would look at them in the mirror every day, until we were willing to admit that we looked like the porcelain dolls. After taking a shower, we snuggled up to each other and watched a movie on the sofa. Lu Qizhou brought a fluffy blanket and wrapped me and him tightly in it. The movie was very touching. It told the story of a young couple who went from secretly loving each other to getting married. At the end of the story, the two people lived happily together with a little dog. It was a very warm scene, but suddenly I felt my nose sting. If one day I leave, what will happen to Lu Qizhou? He is the most stubborn person. He will definitely be like in the previous life. No, I absolutely can't let him do something stupid again. I sniffled and solemnly held Lu Qizhou's face in my hands. Qizhou, let's get a cat, or a dog. A hint of alertness flashed between his eyebrows. Lu Qizhou grabbed my wrist and squeezed it tightly in his palm. Why? You don't like small animals the most, do you? 12. Actually, I don't dislike small animals. It's just that the elders in the Yu family don't like them, so I can't like them either. That year, I begged Yu Jianian for a long time, and he reluctantly agreed to secretly bring a kitten back for me. But before the kitten reached my hands, it was discovered by my adoptive mother. She threw the kitten away. She scolded Yu Jianian for being obsessed with playthings and unworthy of being the heir, and said that he had disappointed her. She also locked me in a dark room to reflect on my mistakes. If I led Yu Jianian astray again, she would send me back to the welfare home. I didn't understand why a small kitten could bring such a big accusation against us, but I didn't dare to resist. After all, I really didn't want to be sent back to the welfare home. To appease my adoptive mother, I knelt on the ground and admitted my mistake, crying and vowing never to bring any small animals home again. Only then did my adoptive mother's stern expression finally soften. I was locked up for a whole week. When I came out, the kitten had already become a stray cat. I couldn't find it. Feeling sad, I wandered around the park alone. I accidentally saw Lu Qizhou holding a large bowl of cat food and crouching on the ground to take care of the nearby stray cats, feeding them. The cold moonlight shone on him, as if casting a soft glow over him. This was a Lu Qizhou I had never seen before. Lu Qizhou's background was similar to mine. No, he actually had an even worse life than me. Lu Qizhou was an illegitimate son who wasn't accepted. Back then, his father was drunk, and his mother took advantage of the situation and climbed into his father's bed at the right time, and that's how he was born. It can be said that Lu Qizhou was the most embarrassing existence in the entire Lu family. No one looked up to him, no one treated him like a human being. Inferiority and gloom had always surrounded Lu Qizhou. Only the stray cats and dogs in the park would gently rub against his trouser legs. I thought that with a kitten for company, if one day I left him again, with Lu Qizhou's sense of responsibility, he would definitely not abandon the kitten. Of course, I won't let him know these thoughts of mine. I kissed his thin lips in front of me. With a child, the house will be livelier. The word child made Lu Qizhou's eyes flicker. He opened and closed his lips, unable to say anything for a long time. Is that okay, Lu Qizhou? In my previous life, I don't want to let Yu Jianian off so easily. But the Yu family is powerful. In case something happens to me, Lu Qizhou, you can't do something stupid again. His inky black pupils held my figure for a long time. There was only the sound of each other's breathing in the silence around us. I felt guilty under his gaze and hung on his neck, urging him, is it okay? okay. It's okay. 13. I had a nightmare. The dream was full of the scene of Lu Qizhou lying in front of my grave, with his white cuff stained red with blood. When I struggled to wake up from the dream, the spot beside me was empty. Where was Lu Qizhou? My heart tightened, and I didn't even have time to put on my shoes. I got out of bed barefoot to look for Lu Qizhou. There was a strange sound coming from the rooftop. My heart sank, and I quickly ran upstairs. I threw the door open to the terrace. Qizhou, you're awake. Lu Qizhou was wearing an apron and gloves, and there was a thick gardening mat on the ground. He raised his head from a row of colorful blooming flowers and looked at me. Each one was my favorite. They were also the ones I had planted in the apartment before, after I was imprisoned in the mental hospital. Those flowers had no one to take care of them. Lu Qizhou tried his best but couldn't save them. Now, why was he planting flowers? Why didn't you put on your shoes? Lu Qizhou frowned, took off his gloves, and got up to get my shoes for me. Then he brought a small bench and placed it beside him, motioning for me to sit down. Why did you suddenly think of planting flowers? His pale and slender fingers scooped up a handful of soil, buried it in the flower pot, compacted it, and poured a pot of water. The pink petals of the Chinese roses were covered with glistening water droplets, looking extremely delicate. When the terrace is full of flowers, I can take a lot of beautiful photos of you. That scene must be very beautiful. Lu Qizhou, we will definitely have that day. 14. Lu Qizhou and I adopted a small orange cat and a yellow and white dog. Lu Qizhou has a gentle and unhurried personality, and he is indeed more suitable than me to take care of the two little guys, of course. He also took the initiative to take on the housework. He is now busy running around every day. There is always a bright smile on his face. In the morning, he first waters the flowers, then takes care of the two furry children. After eating, he even pulls me to take the little guys for a walk. After taking a shower, Lu Qizhou and I sat next to each other and watched TV series as usual. The two furry children lay at our feet, occasionally making contented purring sounds. It's so happy. The person I love the most is right by my side. I can kiss those soft lips just by turning my face. Just thinking about it makes me excited. The corners of my mouth couldn't help but turn up, and I couldn't hold it back. I want to kiss him. Wait a minute, what is Lu Qizhou secretly happy about? Could it be that he found out my little thoughts? Damn it, I clearly hid it very well. His handsome face suddenly leaned in front of me, and he kissed me unexpectedly. Lu Qizhou, Chinsini, I love you. 15. I thought we could spend more time together. Unexpectedly, the separation came so quickly. That day, when we came out of the supermarket, I suddenly wanted to drink milk tea, so I asked Lu Qizhou to go to the garage to drive the car first. He had just left for a short while. A black Porsche Panamera stopped in front of me. I recognized it. This was Yu Jianyan's car. I turned around and ran. Two bodyguards in black suits got out of the car and grabbed me, stuffing me into the car. The driver stepped on the gas pedal hard, and the car roared away. The partition in the middle slowly rose, separating the back seat of the car into a closed space. Yu Jianyan, are you crazy? Let me go back. Xin, it took me so much effort to find you. How could I let you go? His tall body loomed over me. I was forced into a corner. When I was about to hit the car door panel, a large hand reached out and pulled me into his arms. His cold fingers wandered over my waist through my clothes. Yu Jianyan must be crazy. What was he going to do? Did he want to lock me up in a mental hospital again? Absolutely not. The fear of being imprisoned in my previous life crept all over my body. I was so panicked that I couldn't stop shaking all over. I curled up into a ball, with my hands behind my back, and secretly sent a distress signal to Lu Qizhou with my phone. But just as I unlocked my phone, Yu Jianyan pressed me firmly into the corner, reached out his long arm, and without hesitation, snatched the phone from my hand. I lunged forward to grab it. Yu Jianyan, what are you doing? Yu Jianyan raised his hand to stop me and opened the car window with the other hand. Then, in my desperate gaze, he threw the phone out. No. After doing all this, Yu Jianyan hugged me tightly with satisfaction and turned his head to kiss the top of my hair. Xin, you're really disobedient. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have let you leave my side. It won't happen again in the future. We'll be together forever, okay? 16, no, let me go. I struggled desperately and slapped Yu Jianyan hard, but instead of getting angry, he pressed me even closer. He seemed crazy, holding me and talking nonsense nonstop. Xin, don't deceive yourself. You like me. You were with that guy surnamed Lu just to make me angry. To make me angry because I used him to tease you, right? You're angry that I clearly knew your feelings but pretended not to. Shin. Brother was wrong, no. I'm not your brother, let's start over. Okay, Eugenian was really crazy, but, Eugenian, I've never liked you, it's impossible, you're lying again. During the time I was locked up in the mental hospital, I reflected every day, what exactly was my feeling for Eugenian. When I saw him with other women, I would feel lost and jealous. I would even use all means to drive those women away. Not only that, but I would always silently follow Eugenian's gaze. I almost greedily hoped that he would always pay attention to me, but all these were not of my own free will, it was the long-term guidance Eugenian had given me. He indulged my willfulness and deliberately gave me a little when my heart was wavering, when I was doubting and consuming myself internally. He made moves towards me that went beyond the boundaries of a brother. He never refuted nor accepted my overtures. This was clearly a long-planned case of PUA, from beginning to end. It was Eugenian who had feelings for me that went beyond those of a brother. He refused to admit it and was tortured by the possessiveness deep in his heart. That's why he wanted to blame everything on me. Eugenian was a coward. How could I possibly like him? I pushed him away with all my strength and loudly exposed his most shameful secret word by word. Eugenian, it's really perverted to fall in love with your adopted sister, after a lifetime. I finally managed to return those words to him exactly as they were. Eugenian, who was pressing on me, paused for a moment, and his eyes quickly turned gloomy. His palm pulled hard, the clothes on my body tore apart with a sound, a chill invaded my shoulders, and the devil in front of me woke up. Eugenian grabbed my neck and pressed his fingertips down inch by inch. Yes, I love you. Every second you were with that guy surnamed Lou, I wished I could catch you back. You'll never be able to leave me. 17, just like in the previous life, Eugenian wanted to imprison me again, but I wouldn't just sit there and wait for my doom. There was a sharp pain on my lips, and the smell of blood spread freely in my mouth. I took out the hidden switchblade from my pocket and stabbed it hard into the chest of the person in front of me. The next second, he grabbed my wrist and slowly turned the handle of the knife in a circle. Are you satisfied now? Huh, I should have guessed it earlier. Eugenian was a complete lunatic. The car suddenly slowed down, and the tail sound caused by the emergency brake almost pierced my eardrums. Due to inertia, my body quickly leaned forward. Eugenian was quick-eyed and quick-handed and pulled me into his arms, probably because he pulled the wound. He let out a muffled groan and growled at the driver in the front seat. Are you fucking trying to kill yourself, master? There's a car in front trying to force me to stop, a black Maybach. It was Lu Chizhou. The car in front was moving at a very high speed, pressing closer step by step. It had a heroic and tragic feeling of destroying both the jade and the stone. Looking closely, the car in front still left a tiny gap that was almost imperceptible. They were all lunatics. Eugenian was even crazier. Ram into it. I don't believe he's not afraid of death. However, he underestimated the human instinct for survival. Facing two lunatics, the driver wasn't stupid enough to risk his life. The moment the two cars collided, the driver quickly stepped on the brake, turned the car around, and crashed into the green belt beside the road. The car in front stopped quickly. Lu Chizhou's eyes were blazing with anger. He climbed over as quickly as possible and pulled open the car door. After confirming that I was safe and sound, he let out a long sigh of relief. Then he carried me out and placed me down gently, taking off his coat and draping it over me. Stay here obediently and wait for me. Immediately after, Lu Chizhou dragged Eugenian out of the car and punched him one after another. He didn't say a word and poured all his anger into his fists. Eugenian had already been stabbed by me. When the car crashed into the green belt just now, he instinctively protected me in his arms. His leg was deformed due to the heavy pressure. Now he was being brutally beaten by Lu Chizhou and couldn't even make a pained groan. No, if Eugenian was beaten to death, Lu Chizhou wouldn't be able to get away with it. 18. Stop. I stopped Lu Chizhou and closed my hands, tightly wrapping his stiff fist. Lu Chizhou, we still have to go home. The driver wasn't seriously injured either. He called an ambulance immediately and sent the unconscious Eugenian to the hospital. 19. Later, it was my adoptive mother who came forward to talk to me. After Eugenian woke up from the hospital, he was sent away by my adoptive mother on the grounds that he had a mental disorder and needed treatment. As for where he went, I didn't know, and I wasn't interested in knowing either. When Eugenian was unconscious, I made a backup of everything I secretly recorded in the car and sent it to my adoptive mother. After she received it, she reached a deal with me immediately. If this thing was exposed, Yu Jianyan's crimes would be confirmed. Moreover, bullying an adopted sister wasn't a good reputation. Yu Jianyan, this lunatic, might not care about the reputation of the Yu family, but my adoptive parents wouldn't just watch their lifelong efforts be wasted. Of course, Lu Qizhou had also played a part in this. He got a copy of Yu Jianyan's criminal evidence and sent it to my adoptive father. The two old people knew exactly what to do. 3 months after Yu Jianyan was secretly sent away, the Yu family was set up by someone, and there was a major economic crisis due to the breakage of the capital chain. They had to face the situation of being acquired. The acquirer was surnamed Lu, 20. The two little guys ate until their bellies were round and lay in their respective dens dozing off. I snuggled up against Lu Qizhou and reached out to poke his waist. Qizhou, when did you collect the evidence? Lu Qizhou was angry and ignored me. He was angry that I deliberately got close to Yu Jianyan even though I knew he had ill intentions. That day, I saw Yu Jianyan's car nearby, so I deliberately sent Lu Qizhou away. Don't be angry. If I had told you in advance, you definitely wouldn't have agreed. Did you think about me at that time, huh? It's really hard to coax my husband when he's angry. I put on a flattering smile and hung around Lu Qizhou's neck, acting coquettishly. Of course I thought about you. How did you think about me? I was thinking about what delicious food my husband would cook for me at night. Lu Qizhou was furious. He hugged my waist tightly and rested his head on my shoulder. The coolness turned into a string from a dot and gradually wet my shoulder bit by bit. The strength of his arm gradually increased. And I was hugged so tightly that I could hardly breathe. It hurts. Do you know how scared I was at that time? Lu Qizhou choked up, and his body trembled slightly. What if I never see you again? Chen, why do you always leave me behind? I won't leave him behind. If Yu Jianyan hadn't let me come back, then that audio would have rushed to all major news platforms the first moment. At that time, the whole Yu family would have suffered. Be good, I'm back, aren't I? I had a weapon with me. I comforted Lu Qizhou and reached out to rub his fluffy head. The sobbing in my arms became even hoarser. What if he hides you away again secretly? What should I do? I can't find you. What should I do? 21. Silly, Lu Qizhou. If you cry again, I'm going to kiss you. Lu Qizhou moved his head away from my shoulder. His eyes were red, like a delicate little rabbit. It made people want to bully him. You're a liar. I'm not a liar. I licked my lips and leaned in. It was sweet and soft. 22 Extra Chapter Lu Qizhou. I've always liked Chen. Everyone laughed at me for being an illegitimate child. I had no family and no friends. The servants of the Lu family tried every means to torture me behind my back. Only Chen would notice me. 5-year-old Chen clutched a bag of small cookies and stuffed them into my arms. Before that, I had never eaten cookies. When I was extremely hungry, I could only secretly hide in the kitchen and eat the leftovers. That bag of cookies was in the shape of small animals. It smelled delicious. Even though my stomach was growling with hunger, I couldn't bear to eat them. Chen put her hands on her hips and ordered me. Lu Qizhou, if you don't eat the cookies obediently, I'll kiss you. Liar. Definitely a liar. I didn't eat the cookies, and Chen didn't kiss me either. Later, she changed her words and said, if you eat the cookies obediently, I'll kiss you. Still a liar. Chen was different from me. Although she was an adopted daughter, she had adoptive parents who loved her and an elder brother who doted on her. In the Yu family, she could act willfully because no matter what happened, Yu Jianyan would take care of it for her. On the night of her 18th birthday, Chen blinked her bright eyes and looked at Yu Jianyan in the distance passionately. She told me that she liked Yu Jianyan. Yu Jianyan also liked her. There was a dull pain faint in my heart. I thought that as long as Chen was happy, that would be enough. But suddenly one day, I couldn't find her anymore. My world fell into darkness. I questioned Yu Jianyan, but he just avoided the topic. Not long after, the news of Chen death came. I lost her forever. If only I had been braver back then. I hid in the apartment where Chen had lived before. Every inch of it had her presence, many times. I had the illusion that I could see Chen by my side again. I swore countless times that if I had another chance, I would definitely protect Chen well. Fortunately, I really was reborn. I was reborn in the year I turned 18. This time, I used all means to gradually gain a position in the Lu family. The man's cold eyebrows drooped, tinged with a bit of desolation. It didn't take much effort for me to deal with the Yu family. After all, in my previous life, I spent a full 3 years on this matter. After my death, no one in the Yu family ended up well. It would be the same in this life. 23. But Chen still saw me as the self-abased and cowardly